Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right podcast. I'm your host, Malcom Reed. On this episode, we're going to go back and look at a lot of the fun stuff that we did during 2022. It's kind of our recap of season 5. I think we had like 40 episodes this year, so there was a lot of laughs, a lot of great recipes. We had a fun time just hanging out, talking barbecue and all the stuff that's going on with us here at How to Barbecue Right. Hope y'all enjoy it.
So you got a Blackstone down at hunting camp, and y'all did a lot of Blackstone cooking.
Man, yeah, the Blackstone cooking for a crowd is where it's at. We use that thing for breakfast. We'd use it for lunch for making quick sandwiches like grilled ham and cheese or grilled bologna and cheese sandwiches. You can just throw it all out by the time.
How do you do? Okay, tell me about your bologna cheese sandwiches.
Tell you about the bologna cheese. Well, blue plate mayonnaise on the bread.
Okay.
On the outside. That's what, instead of putting butter on it, we put blue plate mayonnaise.
Just a light smear.
So I'll take a pack of bologna.
Right.
Good old red skin bologna, it comes in a little
Oscar Mayer.
Oscar Mayer, brine, whatever, flavor of the South. Get the Blackstone going. Put me a few little slits in that bologna. Fire it out on the Blackstone on one side. Go ahead and start mayonnaising my bread, putting it down on the other side. Flip that bologna when it gets a good char on it. Put a couple slices of cheese on top of each one.
Just American?
Yeah, just Kraft singles. Good old cheese. I usually do piece of bologna, piece of cheese, another piece of bologna on top, another piece of cheese, put that on the bread, fold the bread over, and then just kind of toss it back and forth a few times till the bread's good and griddled. You got bologna cheese sandwich.
That sounds really good.
It's delicious.
So
But you can do it with any kind of meat you want, but at deer camp, it's usually bologna.
So the outside gets a little crispy.
Yeah,
Kinda like, it's like a grilled cheese
straight
sandwich.
up griddled bologna sandwich.
Do you cut them in triangles?
You can cut. Usually I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a rectangle. I like mine triangle.
Something
corner to
about
corner.
triangle grilled cheese.
Oh, it's excellent. I mean, that's I did not think I would be such a fan of flat top cooking.
See, to me, it seems perfect.
It's for one person, you're not going,
Yeah.
But when you're cooking for several people, I can do my bacon, my sausage, my eggs, pancakes.
I did pancakes
all at the same time. I mean, if you get, I don't forget which size one we have. I think it's a 34-inch or something like that.
It's not the biggest.
No, it's not the biggest, but it's not. It's a 4-burner one.
Yeah.
And you've got plenty of room to do stuff on it. So I've done, breakfast, of course. You like cooking on it. We cook fajitas one night on it, and it makes bomb fajitas. We did some mallard duck breast fajitas. We did, I think I just bought a sirloin steak. And then what else did I have? Some shrimp.
I thought we had chicken.
No, it was shrimp.
Oh, it was shrimp.
Yeah, it was shrimp, steak, and duck. Tacos one night. I did all the vegetables on the side. Seared
Duck tacos.
The
were
ducks
best.
we got to talk about. If y'all have never had really good wild mallard duck breast, and if somebody had a bad experience with it, it's probably because they overcooked it. Because it literally took, I seasoned it with my Grande Gringo and a little AP. That's all that went on those duck breasts. No oil, no nothing. These were boneless, skinless duck breasts. Let them set out, kind of dry brine for about an hour, where it kind of, gets the outside a little dry, starts pulling some moisture out. Get some grapeseed oil down on that flat top. Put that duck breast down on it, a minute and a half, flip it, another minute and a half. Look at the temperature. It'll be about 118, 120 right there. Get it off. Let it rest. And then, you cook your shrimp. It cooks super fast. But slice that duck breast, and it will melt in your mouth. I guarantee you, I don't even think if you gave it to someone, they wouldn't even be able to tell you it's duck. Because it tasted like really, really good filet almost, or hanger steak. It had it's got a little bit, I wouldn't say stronger flavor, but it has a real rich, meaty taste to it.
I don't want to call it a minerally flavor because that reminds me of like a liver flavor.
It's not, yeah.
But it's not that, but it's more like a deep.
Yeah, it's more like that hanger steak or, really good inside skirt. Because, out that different cuts of beef have a different
Heck yeah.
rich taste to them, I guess. That's the best way I can describe it.
Tri-tip has a completely different flavor than a ribeye.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So these taste like an inner piece of meat of beef, for real.
It does.
Or like the cheek taste. You know how that cheek is super rich with the fattiness of it. Duck has that flavor. But yeah, go get you some ducks and cook them. That's all I can say.
Growing up around here, I always heard that the only way to cook duck was to tenderize the crap out of it, marinate it overnight,
And grill
tenderize it again,
That's the way
and
we
deep
always had
fry it. And it
Well,
was never that great.
We had it fried, smothered in gravy.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good. It's really good like that. That's probably my second way to have it. But we the most of the time when I had duck, it was like you said, marinated overnight, cut up into chunks, and then roll ups. And then most of the time, whoever
It's
cooked it,
overcooked.
or you cooked, you had to cook it till your bacon was done. It was overcooked and it's kind of dry, and it does have like a liverish taste at that point. But when you learn to cook it to where it's rare, medium rare, where it should be, it's a whole new ball game with duck. And
Well, we've been lucky enough to go to kind of fancy restaurants and actually have duck,
Yeah.
prepared the way it should be, real rare.
yeah,
That's
most of the
when I
time
kinda
those
fell
are
in love with
those
it.
are. Those aren't like wild. It's,
Yeah,
it's
they're
different type of
farm
duck.
raised.
Yeah, it's farm raised. What breed of duck is it? Muscovy duck. A lot of time you'll see that Peking duck. I'm not sure if that's a breed that you see in Asian
I don't
cooking. But
know.
I've cooked those before, and they're good, but they're not near as good as a wild duck. Wild duck just has good. I mean, I just love the flavor of it.
It's really good.
We made duck and sausage gumbo with it, and that was phenomenal. I mean, it was knock your socks off. I made 2 different gumbos that I'd never made. One weekend I made a deer and sausage gumbo, and the next
What do you mean a deer and sausage? What'd you use the deer for?
that was
Like what cut of the deer? I guess. I'm sorry,
it
it's
was
the better
just
question.
hindquarter. It was a
Oh.
roast we cut up. I browned it in the
Really?
skillet. Yep, cut it up into like stew meat.
It wasn't tough.
No, it cooked down in the gumbo. I mean, I think that one probably took about 6 hours for that gumbo. That was a long gumbo. I mean, I made of course I made the roux from scratch and all that, but I wanted to cook that meat down. So that we did, we browned it in a skillet, just a little seasoning, a little bit of oil, just enough to get, some good little crunchies on the outside of all that meat. And then I added it over to my gumbo once I got my roux made and got my Trinity cooked down. Let that cook, started adding my liquids to it. And then before I didn't add the okra to the end, and I didn't put the sausage in to the end. But what I did to really make it taste so good, I think, and I did this with the duck too, was we kind of fried our sausage first, cut it up into bites,
You always do that.
fry it in the skillet, get it off, but leave that sausage fat in that skillet, and then brown in that. Your meat, when you get your meat brown, do your vegetables in it. By that time, your roux ought to be done. Add the vegetables over to the roux. If you got a big meat like deer or duck that needs to cook down and get tender, you can go ahead and add it then, start out building your liquid with it, your broth. And usually I just use chicken stock. That's just, for a sausage, you could use beef stock, I guess, but I like the lightness of a chicken stock.
Yeah.
And man, it just cooked it down till it got good and thick. It was almost like meat and gravy. And then you add your okra to it, add your sausage back to it, cook you some rice, and be good to go. It'll blow you away.
That's
Real.
always a little trick I use when cooking. If ever I can use the fat from the meat
Yeah.
to cook my veg
Yeah,
in.
because it gets all that flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've ever done a gumbo. Have I done a gumbo video?
I don't think so.
I need to do one of those. I know I've done red beans and rice. Probably done jambalaya, pasta.
I don't know. I
We
think
did
you might
pasta
have.
too as a camp. It was really good. I think you shared a picture of that, or I could send it to you to share. I don't know if we did.
But the sale on pork butts got me kind of curious about the meat prices.
Yeah, we're going to see some relief this year, hopefully.
That's kind of what my research said.
Did it really?
Well,
Did you
it
expect-
said that meat prices are starting to come back down.
Yeah.
Prices for meat, poultry, fish, and eggs fell 0.4% from November to December.
I just want the wings price to come down and the supply. That's what.
They did not say anything about wings. I should have Googled that.
Yeah. What's
But
up
I
with
am
chicken
seeing
wings?
a lot more chicken wings in store.
There was fresh. We had plenty of fresh wings at Kroger. I don't know what it is now after the masses get paranoid and go buy everything. They had, was it you, Tyler, that said you were at Kroger yesterday? And
Yes. And they had a whole, so I guess the people were grabbing the milk off the shelf so fast that they couldn't restock it. So they just dropped the pallet on the floor and was like, there you go. Go for it.
it's like the zombie horde attacking the milk. That and bread. I don't know what's up. Well, I was like, what day was that? Wednesday?
Yeah,
we went in there. Yeah, yesterday morning we went in there and got that pork butt. And I ran into the butcher of Chef Steve. And he's like, man, I'm dreading today. I was like, what's wrong, Steve? And he's like, man, everybody's coming, everybody thinks they buy milk and bread. Down here, they buy fillets and T-bones. And he's out there trying to get the meat counter stocked up, stressed out. I was like, man, feel for you, Steve. I hear you. That's what I'm buying. I don't need milk and bread. I need beer and steak. if we're holing up for a winter storm, I'm getting the meat and the beer.
A little whiskey to keep you warm.
Yeah, that's it. What more do you need? I could build a fire and char some meat on it. If I had to do it on the gas logs, I'm gonna char it.
Well, beef's down by 2%.
That's good. That's good. Maybe we'll see some brisket price relief.
Pork's by 1.1%.
Yep.
And hot dogs are 1.5%.
Hot dogs. You know what? What was that, Tyler?
I see wings are up 26% when I just kind of quick researched it.
yeah.
So
Wings.
But are they the biggest problem we've had is finding them?
yeah.
Yeah. A family pack of wings now is $22, and that's crazy. They used to be $10. That's how much they went up at Kroger. And I look at them all the time.
16
Because I buy whole,
wings.
yeah, they're I think it's 13, 14 whole wings in a family pack. And they're, you're paying over $1 a wing now. They used to be dirt cheap. You should, get that pack for $9-10.
So last week we talked about freezer and your use of the freezer.
Did, yeah. I pulled out some freezer meat this week. I got down there and found some skirt steak. You threw a picture of that up. That was the one dinner we had this week. It was my night to cook. So I did like a Asian marinated skirt steak with some jasmine rice and some stir-fried veg. Yeah.
It was really, and we did kimchi.
And kimchi on the meat, yeah.
I love kimchi with
It goes, the tangy sourness of the cabbage goes with rare beef to me.
Yes, it does.
It brings out the flavors and all of it.
It was really, really good.
I didn't even have that to talk about. I forgot I did that.
But Lisa from the community page left me a comment. She pulled everything out of her freezer, inventoried it, made a list of what meat she had, and wrote it down and taped it to the lid of the freezer.
I need you to do that for me. That sounds like a great idea. As for somebody that likes to organize, you love to organize stuff.
I don't like working in the freezer. Your hands go numb.
You have to put on the gloves.
Yeah. But that is a good idea.
It is.
So you can just look at the top of your freezer.
We have the setup for it. It's like the bins. Like you got these collapsible bins, and it helps me keep, things organized in there. But what happens when you get those bins full, stuff starts piling up on them, and then it's like Jenga to move stuff around to get to something to try. And it's like, I'll just go buy it. But we did a good. I'm doing better. I'm doing better. I'm trying to run through trying to use some of that. I've got this 22-pound turkey that I bought for like an emergency back. Well, I didn't know if we were going to be able to find some for Thanksgiving recipes. Mm-hmm. And so
it was scary at the time.
Yeah, we had to order some off Costco. We paid like $100 a piece for these turkeys off Costco because we didn't know we needed them that week.
Yeah,
and the grocery stores did not have their turkeys out yet. This was like early first week of November.
Yeah, it was for a video.
And so when they finally hit grocery stores, all they had was the 20+ pounders. And so I did a video with one, but then I grabbed another one and I stuck it in the freezer. Now a 24-pound turkey takes up a lot of space in a deep freeze.
What are we going to do with that?
I don't know. I need to.
You did that barbecue turkey recipe and made like pulled turkey with white sauce. That would be a good idea to do.
I could just do half turkeys because I've never seen anybody do that. Like you do half chickens.
Yeah.
Because it's still going to be a 12-pound piece of meat. Each half. I mean,
that's going to be an undertaking. It's going to take a week to thaw it.
Yeah, definitely.
You're going to have a plan for that. Well, it's time to bring
Miss Breon from Elda's Kitchen.
Yes.
And we're going to talk to her and find out all about Elda's Kitchen and the products they have. So we've got Bree joining us today from Elda's Kitchen. And Bree, we thank you so much for taking time out of your day to sit and chat with us. How's things going?
First of all, thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Everything's going great. How are you guys doing?
We're fantastic. It's springtime down here in the South.
It's starting to be, yeah.
We've got nice upper 70-degree temperature, sunny days, so we're happy.
Oh, nice.
So, a little background about Elda's. I think from our standpoint, you guys reached out to us a while back and were gracious enough to send us some samples of some of the sauces that you have, and so we thought it was really interesting. We love the flavors you sent.
I love the design.
Yeah, Shell loved the marketing of it, and that's why we wanted to have you on today to give us a little intro into Elda's Kitchen and what that brand's about and what your products are about. And I think we've got some interesting questions lined up for you. We didn't prep you with any, so if there's something you don't feel comfortable talking about, just shy us away from it. But give us tell the listeners what Elda's Kitchen is and what it's all about.
Sure. Well, I'm going to start out with a little bit who Elda is and why we picked Elda's Kitchen. So Elda is my Italian grandmother. I referred to her as Nani, and she was always in the kitchen. And she just created all of these great recipes. And really, I credit her for my love of cooking. So it seemed only right to name our brand of cooking and grilling sauces Elda's Kitchen. So Elda's Kitchen is small batch artisan made in upstate New York. What's really interesting is that we found another family-owned company. The people that own the plant, they started out with 10 employees, and now they're up to about 50 or 60 employees.
Wow.
Since we started Elda's Kitchen. So we're really proud to be American made and to create jobs, especially during the pandemic when it was, it got scary for a little bit with everyone losing their jobs. So Elda's Kitchen, small batch, artisan made. Our flavors we have a range of flavors. So we have a garlic and herb, which, that one is great as kind of like last night I made a 7-layer Mediterranean dip. So I used the garlic and herb to just, really enhance those flavors. But then we have something on the total opposite end of the spectrum, which is it's called Spiky, and it's a spicy candied teriyaki.
Wow.
And
that's good. Yeah. That sounds really good.
Thank you. If you guys love bacon like I do, that makes a fabulous candied bacon.
Oh, now you're talking my language now.
Yeah.
That's one thing we haven't tried. We've tried the Theo's steakhouse. I like using that one on charcuterie boards or sausage and cheese trays.
That's a southern thing there, sausage and cheese board.
Well, it's thick and it's different, and it goes really well with meats. So I like pouring it out and using that. But we haven't tried the spiky sauce.
Well, we'll have to get you samples of that one too. So I'm like, you're bored. In my head, I'm trying to picture it. I love that idea, and I'm going to have to borrow your idea there.
Yeah, definitely.
So that is just an awesome idea. Well, we'll give you credit for that when we post photos.
No, we always serve a sauce with, some sauces with our meat and cheese trays, especially we do something down here in the South called sausage and cheese, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's a smoked or kielbasa style Polish sausage, and we season them, grill them up, and slice them up and serve it with different cheeses. It's a lot like you see people do charcuterie with cold cured meats, but we ours are hot off. We like the hot ones off the grill, and we just keep it simple, call it sausage and cheese. But it's not fancy, but a good dipping sauce goes with it, and that's what we had those different sauces out trying them, and that's just something simple as dipping a piece of cheese in a sauce or a piece of grilled meat and tasting it. You really get the flavors of it. And that was what I liked. And I liked the uniqueness of it, that you could use them as a marinade too, even.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And I will tell you guys is that I'm located in California right now, but we're actually headed to Texas.
Oh,
so I'm excited to try all of the things that Texas and the South has to offer.
Definitely. Are y'all going to the Texas barbecue contest? Is it the Houston going on right now? No, never mind.
We are not. So we are, this will be our first year there. So we're just trying to really get a grasp of the area. We are going to be outside of Houston, but now I'm going to look into that.
I think it's just over.
It was just over. It was last week. I was getting my.
That was a huge, the huge Houston Livestock Rodeo barbecue contest. That's a huge one.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch for that next year.
So right now, currently, where are you distributed?
So we are our plant's in upstate New York, so that's where all of our product is coming from. We're in Whole Foods across the United States. On the East Coast, you can find us in Harris Teeter. And on the West Coast, you can, besides Whole Foods for both locations, on the West Coast in California, you can find us at a market that's in Southern California. It's called Lazy Acres. And we're in New Leaf Markets, New Seasons. So we're just in a bunch of little markets, but then we have Whole Foods. And we are available on our website. And Amazon is soon to be up and running for fully with Elda's Kitchen. We are on there currently.
Well, that's great coverage, though. I mean, with Whole Foods, that's nationwide for sure. And then the direct to consumer from website, I know that's kind of where we started, and that's a whole different animal. When you're talking about having to take orders and ship them out yourself, that's a whole different division of your business.
It really is. And making sure the bottles arrive perfectly too. That's where I get a little extra with the bubble wrap.
Yeah.
So I know, Elda or Nani helped start the recipes. But at what point did y'all decide to turn this into a business where you were going to make it available for consumers?
So this story starts back in the mid 90s. I was still in middle school at that point. And my dad Aldo started out with the Jamaican jerk. And
I was going to say that's one of my favorites real quick, because I'm a big, we love Jamaica. We love jerk cooking, jerk style. And that sauce was great.
Oh, I'm so glad you liked that one. That means a lot, especially since you are used to jerk chicken and like that style of cooking. So I'm glad that you really like that. So he started with Jamaican jerk years ago. And then we had a brand called Marinade Bay. So anyone who's familiar with Marinade Bay, it was sold at Whole Foods as well. You could see some of our flavors are the same. So we have Theo's Steakhouse now. Marinade Bay also have a Theo's Steakhouse. We say that it's the same sauce. It's the same as when we first started. So Elda's Kitchen, we were with a different production company. We just got too small for all of the other accounts that they have. So you kind of just phase out your smaller ones, unfortunately. And that's where we found Brooks Barbecue, who is currently making our stuff. And so Elda's Kitchen, it started about, we're going into our 5th or 6th year of business. And so Elda was always in the kitchen. I can still remember her barbecue sauce that she made to put on chicken. And so it was her love of creating good flavors that helped my dad Aldo and I create all these flavors. And my dad's always just like coming up with flavors. We have customers come to us and are like, hey, we are doing this promotion around this sort of flavor. So last year during the summer, they wanted a shawarma and a Cuban mojo marinade, and we at Whole Foods, and we came up with those.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about the uniqueness of it. It's not just geared towards just barbecue. It's more cuisine driven, or you can use it for different, international style flavors or whatever. You've got a sauce to fit that mold, across the whole line. And then, I don't know if I know all the sauces you have. So if you want to touch on bases on what all y'all have available.
Or what's your favorite?
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, I have to say my favorite. Well, okay. My
what's
favorite is what I'm using at the time.
Yeah.
But I would have to say our Kentucky bourbon.
Wow, really?
Because, it really, you could take it and you can make it the star of the dish, or you add it and it adds that little extra flavor where people are like, what is this flavor? It's really good. It adds a lot to it. So Kentucky bourbon, definitely.
Is it kind of sweet, kind of smoky?
It is. It is. And it's just, I'm flashing to hamburgers right now because I mix it into the hamburger meat before I put it on the grill. And it just adds, I like to look at our sauces and I tell people this is keeping you out of the spice cabinet, out of the fridge, because there's so many flavors in here. So it makes your dinners quick, right?
And that's what people like.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, as you know, everyone's so busy these days that you want flavor, but you also want it quick. And that's where we really step in and help.
So where did Theo come from?
So Theo's Steakhouse came from, it was actually a sample sent to a customer, and on the label, it said Theo's Steakhouse. It was only going to be Steakhouse, but the customer was like, oh, you're naming it after me. And it just kind of stuck. And I think everyone just kind of knows, hey, who wants Theo's Steakhouse? So
we tried that sauce like Shell mentioned with that board. I was like, wonder who Theo is. Maybe.
What's his
must
story?
be a pretty good steakhouse to have a sauce named after.
So I got to ask, what's your favorite recipe to use with that black cherry barbecue sauce you have?
Oh my gosh. So first of all, if you're going to barbecue ribs, that is like my favorite. But the other day, I actually just made meatloaf muffins with the black cherry barbecue. That was one of the first recipes that I came up with. So if you go to our website, you see a bunch of recipes that are just kind of out of the box. And I've actually made a cheesecake using one of our sauces.
Really?
Was it like a savory cheesecake or?
No, it was sweet. It was with the peach habanero.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I could
and
get down on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, my husband's like, oh my gosh, what are you feeding me? I'm like, trust me on this one. It is good. So really, I'm like, where was I going with that? I started cheesecake and now I'm on dessert. That's how my mind works with all these creations.
You can't pick out one favorite. I know how that is.
Yeah,
there's not just one favorite. There's so many.
Yes, there's just, take a look at our recipe. So black cherry meatloaf was one of my original recipe creations that I was like, we're going to take these sauces and we're not going to use them how people think to use a marinade or a finishing sauce. We're going to just revamp them and we are going to make it fun. So every Wednesday I go live on Facebook and Instagram.
Is that under Elda's Kitchen for the listeners out there? Where can they find you on that?
Yes. So Elda's Kitchen Facebook and Elda's Kitchen on Instagram. And I go on there and I take our cooking and grilling sauces. Sometimes it's super basic. We've done hot wings in the past, but last night I made a 7-layer Mediterranean dip using our garlic and herb. So I want to show people that, hey, these are more than marinades or finishing sauces.
Definitely. And I like how you do that. I did one recipe I saw where it was a wedge salad and you used hot sauce to go with your wedge salad. And I thought that it was a hot wing sauce you used. You used the hot wing sauce to go with that wedge salad. I really like that idea. I'd never seen that done before. I like the idea of making a buffalo wing wedge.
Yeah, that sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I know I'm always reaching for like the hot sauce and I was like, how can I incorporate Elda's? I'm like, we're just going to add it in there. It was super delicious. I love a good wedge salad.
Me too.
So how many products are you up to now?
Oh my goodness. I'm not even sure. I think we are nearing about 20. So we do have our 8-ounce bottles, which are the retail size. And we also have a 64-ounce food service size. So some flavors are only in that 64-ounce.
Okay.
And so I didn't know that was part, a division of the company either. So you actually sell to, I guess, restaurants, food trucks, more of a commercial use, right?
So the 64-ounce are actually found behind the meat counter in Whole Foods and other small retailers like Harris Teeter. Harris Teeter isn't small. So Whole Foods, Harris Teeter, but out here we have New Leaf and New Seasons, and they're used behind the counter.
That's cool. That's a whole market that we've looked at getting into where you can actually sell to someone that's using that sauce in another capacity other than just trying to use it, for home cooking
at home,
or whatever. That's a great idea.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it is. my husband is actually, he works at Whole Foods in the meat department. So it's kind of nice. We sync up very well with, you bring home meat, I'll figure out how to season it.
Yeah, that's a win. That's a win-win. You got the butcher side of things, and then you doing the recipes.
Do you have a freezer full of meat?
Yeah.
We don't have the room out here, but we're like, we really need a chest freezer.
Yeah.
We need to go to these county fairs and just, buy from 4-H or FFA.
Yeah. So before we get off here, is there anything else in development for Elda's?
So, we're always thinking of new ideas. So just kind of stick around, check out the website, because I know that there are a lot of different flavors flying around from the gentleman who takes our ideas and brings them to life. And my father and I, as well as everyone else who's part of the Elda's Kitchen family, we get an idea and we really just go with it.
Well, we love the idea that it's a family-owned, family-ran business, and you guys are doing a fantastic job with the marketing, with the recipes, with the flavor, with the social.
The recipes are worth going to check out. You have pages and pages and pages of recipes, and they're all really great. They're very interesting and different. So it's worth going and check out the recipes. So we know we could find you on Facebook and Instagram at Elda's Kitchen. Where else can people find you? What's the website?
So our website is www.eldaskitchen.com. And also, if you head over to YouTube and you search Elda's Kitchen, we do have recipe videos on there as well. Some of them are a little bit longer, and some of them are those short recipe videos that I know I really enjoy when I'm scrolling social media.
We've learned that the short content is what people are watching.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Well, Bree, it was so nice of you to come out, to come on and share the Elda's story with us today. And we wish you all the best. And people can find Elda's products at Whole Foods everywhere. You've got where was it on the West Coast? What stores?
Oh, on the West Coast, we are at Lazy Acres in Southern California, New Leaf and New Seasons, which are scattered from about Central California all the way up to Oregon. Awesome.
Well, soon to be on Amazon, but you can go to the website and order too. That's at Elda's Kitchen. So.
Yep. And our Amazon we do have products on there. It's just, we're still trying to add video and make it interesting for customers that are wanting to buy it.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much, Bree, for joining us today. It was a pleasure getting to know you a little bit.
Thank you both so much for having me on. I truly appreciate your time.
Enjoy your trip to Texas.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. There, get some brisket. Brisket and beef ribs. That's what you need to be looking for.
Yeah, we're relocating down there, so I am sure to enjoy Texas barbecue.
All right. Well, yeah, you're gonna love it. I promise you. Have a good one.
Thank you both so much. You too. Bye-bye.
I don't think I've ever seen a fair like that. Do they still do those?
I used to. I
haven't been to a fair
coming up. The Mid-South Fair was awesome. I loved it. They always had stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's been before my time.
Yeah.
They may not. I don't know. Now there's probably like a fair union, and you got to do all this. Last time we went, all the concessions was controlled by one group, and you think you're getting all this. The fair food sucks now. I want to go to one of those. Like there's one, and I think it's
the Texas one's supposed to be great.
Yeah, there's one of. You ever watch? There's a show that's like does most amazing fair food or something like that. I've caught myself watching it before. They have some. It's not around here, but some of that stuff looks awesome. It's not controlled by one group. It doesn't look like.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite food comes from the fair. So
yeah.
Last time I went to the Delta. What do they call it now? The Delta Fair, or it's maybe the Mid-South Fair. But they have it at the Lander Center, and I was like, man, we're gonna go. We're gonna get pronto pups and corn dogs and all this, and it's all ran by these, the same people are running every single booth. And
they just travel together.
Yeah, it wasn't fair food.
It wasn't local
like
or anything.
Food.
Yeah. Did they have
they were foreigners too. It wasn't like Americans that had those jobs. I was like, man, what's up with this? They must be doing some kind of work program. Probably cheap labor is what it is. It's probably the backing behind it.
When you were coming up, did they have pig racing at the fair?
Yeah, I think they do. They still do.
Okay.
They did the last time I went. They had it. Elliot loved it. That's great.
Me too.
The coolest thing I saw is they had this donkey.
Wait
a minute.
Stop right there.
And they had a monkey that would ride the donkey, and it would climb up this ladder. And I don't how
What
you
size
train.
monkey?
It's like one of those little macaws or whatever.
Okay.
You saw those little monkeys. He had on his little outfit. He had a little saddle, and he'd get on the back of this donkey. And this donkey would, no joke, climb up this ladder, and it was probably 2 or 3 stories high. And it had a platform, and they had one like above ground pool, and that donkey would jump off that platform into that pool with that monkey on his back. And it was like, it blew my mind. I was a kid. My papa took me to see it. I was like, this is amazing, man. First off, they got that donkey to climb a ladder.
Yeah, and jump.
And I mean, it wasn't nothing for the monkey. He was just, I don't know I guess he just liked the experience. I don't know. but it went down. I saw it. And I rode a camel. So that's pretty interesting. So you can tell I love, I was born to love fairs.
Yeah.
I love the expo buildings at fairs where you go and you'd see all the inventions of tomorrow and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Inventions of tomorrow.
It was mainly like hot tubs and saunas.
Yeah. They're trying to sell you on
Yeah,
it.
they were trying to sell
massage
stuff.
chairs. Yeah.
It's basically a big, sharper image.
That's
Yeah.
basically what it was. And then we'd also go in, like my mom used to enter the try to win the blue ribbon. So they had like, you could can fruits, bake a pie. They
Yeah,
had
I
all
entered
this.
one time.
My mom's got several blue ribbons she won from doing different vegetables and things like that.
We entered through 4-H.
They
Different
entered,
things.
Waylon actually entered the art contest one time. He'd done like this stained glass thing. When he was into stained glass. I guess I don't know how you get into that. He did.
Yeah, my wife used to do like fairs with 4-H as well, like
Yeah.
bake
Yeah.
pies, cakes, etc.
Yeah.
So.
I
So
built
we
a
always looked at
birdhouse one
that.
time.
Did you win a ribbon?
No, that was
Oh.
a pretty crappy birdhouse. I waited till the last minute.
Tied something together.
Yeah. Somebody else had one that made it look like a cat's head, like the bird would
Yeah.
go in the cat's mouth.
I always liked the animal judging too, because you could walk through the
Yeah, we did that too.
stables and see all the livestock and see the little shows.
So what do we cook at camp this weekend?
Man, we worked up. So everybody's had Crystal Burgers, right? Or what's
White
the other
Castle?
one? White Castle, or we call them Crystals in the South, but I guess up north they have White Castle. But it's the little bitty square hamburgers with kind of the mystery meat on it. I don't know if it's.
mystery.
It's supposed to be ground beef. It don't seem like it. But we did our version, the little Hawaiian roll style. Y'all know I love doing Hawaiian roll where you split the buns open and you put cheese and all that stuff in there. Mm-hmm. I've done it with like crawfish, pizza rolls, roast beef. I don't know if I've ever done a barbecue, and I need to try that. But I've done them all kinds of ways.
I do barbecue and to take places. Yeah.
But this time we did the cheeseburger, which is a take on little Crystal or White Castle burgers. And instead of making I'm going to do this recipe like probably for a TikTok or something because it was so good. But we did it with just like sauteed up some onions, threw a pound of ground beef in a skillet.
I threw a little garlic.
Yeah, threw a little garlic in there, brown that off.
And season it with prime beef. Swine
Life prime beef. So the meat tasted good, but it was kind of, loose, like just brown ground beef. And then you cut those Hawaiian rolls open and put a layer of cheese down. Like, would you just use cheddar, right?
Yeah, like sandwich cheese.
Sliced.
Yeah, but it wasn't just like
that makes your
American.
foundation. So all the meat don't just sit right on the bread. You put the cheese down, spread the meat out on top of the cheese, covered it with more shredded cheese, and put dill pickles on it. Then put the top bun on, and then covered it in like a melted butter, seasoned up mixture.
A Worcestershire, a little more seasoning.
Yeah, probably a little mustard flour or ground mustard. So you get that flavor of the mustard pickle and onion in it. Dude, I'm telling you, these things were so good. And when you just did them in the oven.
Yeah.
It was just like 350, 30 minutes or something like that.
And I didn't use Hawaiian rolls that I sliced. I used the Hawaiian rolls slider buns.
Okay. Well,
I liked them better because I didn't have to slice them.
They look like little Crystal or White Castle burgers.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all connected and you just cut them loose, but man, they were good. The bottom's got a little crunchy. I like that, cooking them in the full in the pan because the bottom gets a little crunchy.
Yeah.
So the top still stays nice and soft and soaks up all that butter mixture on top. And then you got, the only thing it needed was like some kind of dip. Like if you'd have took mayonnaise and mustard or mayonnaise and ketchup and made a little, a fry sauce, like a burger sauce.
Yeah.
Where you could dip that little sandwich in that. Man.
Or you could have used Thousand Island, I guess.
You could have, yeah.
I'd rather
you could do them. You could do those like Big Mac style if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Like layer it up.
We did spicy jalapeno ribs.
Yeah, and I cooked on that new Traeger. Traeger released a new cooker. Was it yesterday? Wednesday. We were recording this on Thursday, so yeah, they released it yesterday. It's the I guess you'd call it the
Traeger Timberline XL is what they're
latest and greatest top of the line offering from Traeger.
So do you want to?
They hadn't released a new one for a while, but
do you want to talk about the grill first or the recipe?
We'll talk
first?
about the recipe first.
Okay.
So getting at that, they contacted me and said, "Hey, you got to cook on one?" I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to." I mean, we don't really do reviews, but I'll do a recipe on it, using it, and show some of the features of it. Yeah. So that's kind of the approach I took on it.
And that's what they said. They basically said, we're going to give you one of these brand new grills.
That's right.
If you do a video on it and release it
on that
Wednesday.
Day. Yeah. And that's exactly what we did. I mean, I'm all about something new, shiny, and expensive and free. That's got all the qualities that I want. And free being important too.
Yeah.
but I've been wanting to do like a version of a spicy jalapeno rib for a while. I just hadn't done one, and it was a great time to do it. And so really, I just I took the approach of what a sweet and spicy rib. That's what it was. So went to the store, bought a rack of St. Louis cut ribs.
Where'd you get those ribs?
At Kroger. I didn't get anything fancy. They were just meaty, decent, straight bone ribs.
What brand were they? Do you know?
I think it was Swift.
Oh, really?
It wasn't anything fancy.
It wasn't moist and.
It was the only ones they had. Kroger had St. Louis cut spare ribs, and so took the membrane off the back, squared them up a little bit, trimmed a little of the fat, but I kind of like that fat on my spare ribs. I don't like competitions. You don't want judges to see fat and all that, but if you'll notice on that record ribs, it had some top fat on it. It gets melty and fatty and delicious to me when you cook it. It almost melts in your mouth. So it don't bother me. But season those ribs with Heath's garlic jalapeno rub.
Yep.
It's an awesome rub if you've never used it.
I find myself using it more like in kitchen cooking than barbecue.
Yeah, because I mean it's like an AP. It's
heavy
not,
garlic with a little heat.
And then took out the black pepper and added the jalapeno flavor.
Yeah.
And it's not overpowering jalapeno, but it's a subtle, it's got plenty of heat to it. Like, don't shake it up and breathe it because it'll pepper spray yourself. But it's really good. It's got a nice flavor to it. And then I used the barbecue rub for some, barbecue flavor, some color. It tastes great on its own anyway.
Yeah. We'll
be bad, right?
So you kept that part really simple. It's just those two rubs.
That's it. That's all you needed. You could use any barbecue rub, but you need the jalapeno seasoning. So I would say if you're going to buy one, buy Heath and then use your favorite rub. If you want to be the best, use the barbecue rub.
Or you could buy some jalapeno powder and mix it in with some rubs.
Yeah. Can you get that? Have you looked and seen?
I know we got it from Townsend one time.
Yeah. It's stout. Man, you got to watch it though. Yeah. Straight jalapeno powder or flavor is hot. It's hot. I made the mistake. That's how I know I pepper spray myself using that, playing with that stuff. And Heath got a batch one time, and he said something they used a powder instead of a granule or something in his when he was first getting it made, and it made a hot batch. And
he was pepper spraying everybody.
He was pepper spraying everybody. Yeah, it was super hot. But when he got to his final product, it's not. It's heat, but it's subtle and it's got good flavor. So.
That's one thing I like about the jalapeno powder is that it does taste good.
Yeah.
You get the heat, but you get a lot of good flavor
with it too. That's right. And it's a little different than using just straight black pepper for heat or cayenne.
Yeah. But anyway.
If you want to make them hotter, hey, add some cayenne to it or, throw some habanero in there or something. You could definitely make it hotter, crushed red. That'd have been good to add to it. But I wouldn't go in for like burn you down style. I wanted that jalapeno flavor, and I wanted the sweetness to kind of offset it or go along with it.
So you get the sweet, you get the heat.
Yeah.
So you smoked them. How long did you smoke them
Smoked them, started out on super smoke, 225. Really wanted to drive some smoke flavor and build that nice smoke ring on both sides of a rib. And they went for about 2.5 hours till the rub just kind of sets on the meat to where I didn't spritz them or anything. I just let that rub adhere to it. No binder on the ribs, just straight seasoning on the ribs. And at 2.5 hours, that rib, I could take it with a finger and rub it, and nothing came off. And so that's what you want to see. At that point, it's time to get them tender. So I did add some heat to the wrap. I used Mike's Hot Honey. This is where we started bringing in that sweet element because we were going to protect them, wrapping them up, put a few pats of butter down, bunch of Mike's Hot Honey, and then I wanted some liquid in there, and I needed a little bit of vinegar to go with the sweetness to kind of cut it. And I like that. Normally I like to use vinegar sauce on the wrap, but instead of that, I used some pickled jalapeno and sweet pickled juice. So I've got a product called Sweet Fire. You see it called Cowboy Candy or just
pickled jalapenos
would work.
Yeah.
Any of that would work to get that element. So you get the flavor of the jalapeno, but you get the acidity from the vinegar in there, and it's got some sweetness to it too.
I like how you use that pickle juice for the vinegar element in the wrap.
It was really good, and I'd never done that before, but I could see doing that even with dill pickle juice. I think dill pickle juice would be good in there. You give it a little different flavor. Yeah, you wouldn't know it was straight up dill, but it would go with it. It would go with that. It would go with the pork.
So I had a question to ask you. Do you feel like you need specific things in a wrap, in a rib wrap? Like when you make a rum punch, you always say you need so many parts sweet, so many parts sour, so many parts bitter. Do you feel like
strong.
Yeah, so many parts alcohol? Yeah. Do you feel like you have some type of ratio like that in a wrap?
So I always go for at least 3 things, and it's the richness. That's usually the butter element. That's your fat. Kind of add some oil to it. I like to have some heat. Usually that's either from another seasoning, from like a pepper jelly or, some kind of like tiger sauce or rib candy, something like that element. And then I like that vinegar element. And usually I get that from like my vinegar sauce. And so that's, or another barbecue sauce. A lot of times we'll sweeten them up. We'll add brown sugar, we'll add honey, things like that. So those elements just go in a wrap. Richness, some heat, some sweet, some liquid, and you're getting that liquid from your sauce, or you could add juice even.
Yeah.
And that kind of works too. But those are the elements that I like to see.
So
and that's more so in a competition rib, or, something that you're really wanting to amp up the flavor on. Like if it's just a good old eating rib, I may just wrap them with nothing.
Yeah.
Or just add a little apple juice.
Or just butter.
Or don't even wrap them.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just butter. But like, if you really want to take a rib up a notch, kick it up, like those, honey jalapeno ribs are, you need to add those elements to it.
So we went to New Orleans last weekend.
I didn't know you was going to bring this up. It was a good trip. I'll just say that. Went and saw Eric Church. He put on a fantastic show.
Yeah, he did.
People were mad at him for skipping out on, what was it, a Houston show or something? Because he went to the
he had to cancel
Duke and North Carolina game. But
they should be mad.
He made the New Orleans. Yeah, I'd been mad too. If we'd have got hotel rooms, tickets, traveled down.
Babysitters, dog sitters.
Lined everything up. You got down there, nope. Sorry, folks. No show tonight. I'd have been pretty upset too. But he put on, I'd never seen Eric Church live. And if you guys hadn't seen him, he puts on a heck of a show.
You're not that.
It was a 3-hour show. No, I knew a bunch of his songs, but it's not like he's on my regular rotation of music to listen to. But, I bet he played 30-something songs. There's no opening act. It was him from start to finish, no encore. He's probably spent by the time it was over.
Oh, yeah.
But the show started at 9, and it went over till midnight. It was a good concert. We got kicked out. They put us out of the place.
We were the last people.
I got a personal police escort out of. Where was it at? The Smoothie Cake Center. Saw SUV sitting outside. Said, "Hey man, give us a ride. $100. Take the hotel." He's like, "Come on in." I said, "All right." Best $100 I spent too. 'Cause I did not want to try to find my way from that part of town back over to where we were staying.
New Orleans is a whole different vibe. It's like the smells, the sounds, there's like the diviest dive bar right next to a 5-star restaurant. You know?
For real. It's just debauchery. It had been, I don't know how long it had been since I'd stayed on Bourbon Street. We had a balcony. I got spotted.
Several times.
Yeah. Like out on the balcony, people were across the way hollering at me and recording me and putting it up on TikTok. Just went with it.
I was like, "Oh, we got this balcony. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna throw beads. I've never done this before." Like, it sucked about Saturday morning at 9 a.m.
It's nonstop. I recommend everybody do it once. Go down to New Orleans, stay on Bourbon Street, get you a balcony room, and enjoy it.
but that'll probably be the last time you'll want to do that because it is almost 24 hours a day of beating, banging, music playing, people hollering, no telling what you're going to see. I hate to see it when they legalize marijuana in Louisiana because it is buck wild. It's like it's just a cloud over the city right now. I mean, in the morning, that's the first thing you smell. You wake up, it's like, dang, what are they burning? Oh, it's probably marijuana. It's like, dang.
I mean,
what are these folks doing?
It's not legal there, but they're passing joints. I mean,
I had never seen nothing like it in my life.
Yeah,
and I've been to states where it is legal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Too, yeah,
like, man, this is the police force did not seem to care.
They got bigger problems.
They didn't want you. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's just. I guess anything goes. I don't know. You learn a lot when you go to New Orleans. There's people out there way wilder than I've ever thought about being in my life.
What was the best?
And you jump in there with them just for a little bit, get a taste of it, and you get out. I mean, I'd hate to be trapped in that. Could you imagine? Because it's like Hotel California. You know, you check in, they never let you check out. There's people like that. They're just there.
And
it's like,
it never stops.
Never stops.
If you want to, just never stop drinking and just go. 24 hours a day for a week.
Oh, yeah. And then I guess just lay down on the ground because I just saw people just laid out. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty sad, too.
Yeah.
You see people in some bad shape down there. But
I could see it being easy to fall into that.
If I was, strung out or something like that, why not go to New Orleans? That's where the party is. I mean, I see why people go down there. Anyway. I'll tell you the trick to corn. I learned this. I think it was on a website, like somebody from Iowa would post it, and I figured if they're from Iowa, they probably grew up.
They knew a little something about corn.
But you bring up about a half, your wife's spaghetti pot. Everybody's got one. About half water. You get it boiling, you put a little bit of salt in it, a little bit of sugar in it. When I'm talking a little bit, it's probably a teaspoon of each.
Like a pinch?
Yeah, no, a little more than a pinch. Measure out some. Measure out some. I just put it in my hand. 2 or 3 pinches. Sugar and salt, and then a couple splashes of white vinegar. Now, you don't know the white vinegar's in there, but it does something to those kernels of the corn. So you bring that to a boil, and then you shuck your corn, pull all the silt off. You put the corn on the cob in the water, and you turn it off the heat, and you cover that pan. And it needs to go about 10 minutes is all. And it will be the snappiest, like every little kernel is bursting with flavor, kind of pops when you bite into it. You get a touch of, and this will turn regular old corn that you'll think is the most high-grade tricolor sweet corn you've ever had. And just that pinch of sugar and the salt. It don't need anything. I mean, you put butter on it if you want to, but you don't have to. Michael tore it up.
Yeah.
Like he was getting.
He loves corn on the cob.
Yeah, he was getting everything. I didn't even eat one. I was trying to watch the carbs.
And then for the Greek chicken breasts.
So with that,
we use those for wraps.
Use them for lunch wraps. I got some left over to go with the salad. So we got several meals out of this, really. I just took those and sliced them up almost. Would you say fajita style? Like you were gonna make fajitas with the cooked chicken?
Yeah.
I just let them cool, chopped them up that night.
So that way you can make sandwiches, you can add it to salad.
You can do whatever. And I put it in a Ziploc bag, and I used,
just reach in there with your fingers and have a few bites.
But you had bought some big wraps. I don't know which ones they were. I did a little bit of mayo, some fresh spinach, one slice of pepper jack cheese, some roasted red pepper strips. And then I had some extra bacon, so I put some of the chicken down, and I put some bacon down, and I made bacon. It was chicken bacon ranch wraps, basically, is what it was, and they were dang good for
Where'd
lunch.
the ranch come from?
Well, that's what I called them. I should have put ranch. I guess you dip it in ranch.
Yeah, you can.
If I had it to do over, I told you I would have made you some fresh, like your ranch dressing, like the dipping ranch, and then spread that on the shell first, and then built everything. But I just roll those up and slice them and then put them in like a little plastic container. And we got 2 lunches. So, yeah, meal prepping, man.
It does make things easier.
You don't have to worry about ordering lunch.
Yeah. So dark meat versus white meat. Ditch the idea that white meat is healthier. Both white and dark meat have positive nutritional qualities. White meat does contain less fat and less calories than dark meat. However, the differences are very small. Dark meat is also richer in nutrients than white meat and contains more iron and zinc.
Huh. Maybe that's why maybe you had an iron deficiency or something. You
Probably
you crave that.
White meat has a milder taste, while dark meat has a fattier, chickenier taste.
I agree with that.
So the different muscles in the animal are used to do different things. So your dark cuts, like your drumsticks, your thighs, they are used for holding the animal up and walking. So they are required to work for longer, sustained periods of time. The white cuts are required to perform short bursts of energy, like flapping their wings.
Yeah, but in the cages, they raise them in. They ain't doing no walking or flapping or nothing. They just sitting there blowing up. Like they go from chick to full grown fryer in a week.
You're right. They ain't walking around.
I think it's dark because they done cut the circulation off. They can't move, so the circulation's cut off, turns the meat dark. That's just my theory.
Well, I'm going to tell you. Okay, so dark meat cuts come from the muscles that use more oxygen and have more iron.
Okay.
Iron is held in a protein called myoglobin.
You're getting way too scientific for me on this.
And that's what gives it its darker
color. Okay.
This is the stuff that makes my wife cry.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She watches all these documentaries all the time.
How chickens are raised cruelly or whatever.
Then we can't eat Zaxby's for a couple weeks until she gets over it. This whole thing.
How does she feel when she goes down the highway and she sees the truck of them all crammed in there, looking like they're getting wind blasted?
I saw one with his little foot sticking out. He was trying to pull it. It made me so
That was
sad.
last weekend. Yeah. I was just thinking, delicious chicken wings.
Look at them.
That's what I look at. Look at that load of chicken wings
nuggets.
there. It's fresh as it gets right there.
Okay, one more point. This is interesting. In contrast, breast meat of a duck is actually darker because ducks fly and use that muscle for a long, sustained periods of time.
Okay.
So
that's why they get so much dark meat on them. They're using way more of their...
Yeah, so that's the dark meat on the ducks. That's what the difference. They're using them
So
more.
I wonder if you got a couple generations in on some pen-raised ducks, would that meat turn lighter?
I don't know.
Maybe so.
Can you pen raise ducks?
Okay, they pen-raised chickens. I guess you could.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's good facts, though. Doing some research.
I got more,
You
but
got more.
I'm not gonna go down there. You gave me that.
You're not gonna bore us with the rest of the scientific stuff. Make me start feeling bad for the chickens I'm eating.
Thinking about them too much.
Yeah, I'm thinking about them right now. So.
Would you turn your nose up at a dark meat chicken salad?
Yes. I want chicken salad made out of white meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about dark meat in your chicken and dumplings?
Yes. I don't want that. I mean, so
I use a whole chicken.
we use a whole chicken. Yeah. So it's not really, you don't really know. But if it was just all dark meat, I would be something's wrong there. That's just my preference.
Yeah.
I ain't saying I'm right. I'm just saying that's my preference.
Yeah. So you fall typically more on the white meat
spectrum.
White meat spectrum.
Yeah. I ain't gonna shake my head at a leg or a thigh, but that's all they got,
I used to love legs as a kid, but
yeah, and I feel like legs are more what kids eat.
Yeah.
Have you seen the ones that people have been doing where they're like butterflying the leg open and cooking them?
I like an air fryer.
I hadn't tried them yet. Yeah, I've seen them on TikToks where they're doing them on the air fryer, but I've seen them do them on the grill too. And it's like you take the knife and you go down the bone and just kind of fillet it back off the bone. You leave it on the bone, but you lay it open and it gives you more surface area, I guess, to grill. You don't have to roll it. I guess you just flip it one time. But it looks interesting. I mean, appearance ain't the greatest when it's done, but
I'd try it though.
I'd try it too.
Especially if you could get it kind of crispy on all those sides, Have you seen hot dog burn-ins?
No.
Have you not?
Hot dog burn-ins.
Have you seen hot dog burn-ins?
Yes, I have.
Is it where, just take hot dogs, put rub on them, put them on the pit, and then toss them in sauce? I can't imagine. I mean, that's what I would do with them, but.
This one guy rubbed them down with mayonnaise and mustard.
What?
And then rubbed them.
Yeah. Then put the rub.
I guess that was his binder, but he went thick.
Yeah.
And then he smoked them, cubed them.
They swell up or how they look? I just imagine, an overcooked hot dog, it's got a point where it's going dry.
Yeah, I agree.
Like shriveling.
I'm very curious.
They looked good, the one I saw anyways. But
like
I've done bologna burn-ins, like cut them up in cubes.
And those are delicious.
They are good. What's the difference? It's
not much.
There ain't a whole lot of difference.
One's in tube form. Yeah.
Just smaller, I guess.
Yeah. I'm still curious. I'd like for you to. How would you do them if you were going to cook
hot dog burn-ins?
Do you cube them pre-smoke or do you cube them
No, you
smoke?
chunk them up.
go ahead and chunk them up.
Chunk them up. Yeah. That's what I would do. Bite-sized pieces of hot dog.
And then smoke them.
Like I was going, yeah.
And then sauce them.
Yeah. I'd put them in a pan after I got some bark on them, you know, like let that crust develop. Throw them in a pan, cover them in sauce. Let them get all sticky. Probably put some brown sugar in there. Put some honey and some butter. Like I was making pork belly burn-ins or brisket burn-ins. I mean, it can't be bad as long as you don't let them get too dry.
I'm really curious. I'd like
Little Smokies would probably work in that case too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what crockpot Little Smokies are. I've done Little Smokies they don't really get that. I never put rub all over them.
Yeah,
like that.
we've never let them build a bark.
Smoked and put them in sauce. But
I'm wondering, will hot dogs make that bark?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, because they're already kind of slick on the outside.
I just don't know.
I feel like you could at any point just wipe it off.
If it would stick to it.
Yeah.
So out of all those contests, why is Memphis in May the one you do every year and the one you put so much effort into?
Because it's in my backyard. I grew up with it. And I love it. It's all pork. That's what real barbecue is. No, I think it's because it's such a big, it's more of a festival to me. It's got that party atmosphere. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. It's a lot of hard work. And in my later years, I have tried to take a back seat on some of that hard work and let some of the other guys step up. But I put my stripes in. But I think it's just a good time. I think it's, you know, we look forward to it, you know, for most of the year. Like after this weekend, we'll be like, screw this, you know, we're not going to go back. But I think it's like every year it's like that. It takes a lot out of you. You usually have to recuperate.
Yeah.
But by the time in the summer's over, you're like, man, I can't wait to get back to Memphis in May. Maybe we can do a little better this year. And one thing is I've never like won the whole thing. If I ever won the whole thing, it'd be easy to say, well, I've done that. I'd probably still want to go and just hang out. That's kind of like my goal, like to win Memphis in May, to go back and kind of, you got to go back the second year.
And
just
do your victory lap. Yeah.
And then after that, just kind of
Fade
be
out.
on a team, you know, so I can do that.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people that are on a team, you know, that you just put your dues in. Like most of these teams have $300 or $400. It might be $500 this year on teams. I don't know what it takes to join. But that gets you wristbands, and it usually gets you in the thing and all the food, all the beer, and everything you want without having to do any of the work.
No, it usually typically gives you the privilege to do the work.
Yeah, you get a privilege to do the work. But see, those are the young guys, the the newbies, the ones that don't know anything about it. They're the ones that are eager to get in there and be the trash man or be the overnight man, something like that. You're gonna do all the grunt work. The old heads like me now, we just want to kick back and enjoy it.
Run that finger.
But I do. So my job is going to be selling the barbecue.
So that's something else you got to do most of the time. So,
but I do have fun with it. I get to talk to a lot of people, meet a lot of people. I mean, that's what's fun to me. I mean, just seeing all the people that you don't see on a regular basis, because it's one time a year that all these people get together. You know, it's not like we see them every week anymore. Used to in the contest when you're running schedule, you'd see a bunch of them, but here there'll be 300 plus teams. You know.
So we entered our first year in the patio division, which is the backyard division, amateur division. In 2006, we won the amateur division at that time, so they forced us to go pro. That was the deal. Once you hit that, you go pro. And since then, we've cooked rib, shoulder, hog. We've entered all the different categories, and we've finished in every top 10 spot at some point or another, except for 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, except for 1, 2, or 3. I know. You don't have to remind me. I know. It's like hanging over my head.
We've got a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th.
This is our year. This is our year. I'd say that every year. This week is like you feel everybody's on top of it right now going in. It's like, oh, we got it figured out.
Yeah.
We've done practice. We tweaked our recipe a little bit. It's a little bit better than it was last time. It's all going to come together. We've got the booth set up the way we want it. The grill's there. You know, it's all coming together. It's looking like a win. We're going to pull off that 21st place horse.
Everybody's going to be singing a different tune come Sunday, though.
Yeah. But, we'll be robbed.
Yeah.
What's wrong with bad ribs?
Everybody gets robbed on Sunday.
Man, that cheated us. We went for that blind box. Did all right on own side, but it wasn't that blind box. Got on a bad table. Must have been somebody else good on that table. There's always excuses you can make when you don't do it. Yeah. But it's not so
it is the biggest pork cooking contest, but there's a lot of other stuff that goes on with Memphis in May too, because it really it's going to start on Thursday as far as contests go, because they break it up. So they have we'll do tomato sauce, we'll do vinegar sauce, and we'll do mustard sauce on Thursday, and then we'll do hot wings and the turkey. What's the turkey deal? It's national. It's not National Turkey Federation. It's something like that though. They're sponsoring Memphis in May, and so usually there's some off different category. And this year it's going to be turkey. Was it turkey last year too?
Yeah, it's been turkey the past couple of years.
Yeah, they also did lamb, but I don't think they had did they have a contest with the lamb?
No, they just had the Lamb Federation there passing out ribs if you wanted them.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Alliance Federation or Corporation or whatever.
We went.
They want people to eat turkeys, what it sounds like, more than on Thanksgiving. So they're giving everybody that joined up, they're actually providing you a whole turkey. And I hope it's fresh, not froze. And then
that would be a problem.
And then I guess you turn it into Go Box. There's no on site on turkey, so you just have to come up with your best turkey dish and turn it in. Then Friday kicks off all the other ancillaries where we've got chicken or anything poultry, beef, seafood, or exotic, and that could be anything.
What are y'all turning in for exotic?
We're doing Kevin from the butcher shop in Pensacola sent us some awesome looking buffalo ribeyes.
We talked about this last week.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Well, they're the real deal. They are.
Yeah, Brian won last year, first place,
Yeah,
so he's defending his title.
Was it first place last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Third
he
place.
tied for. It was a 3-way tie,
Oh,
so it was a coin flip, and he ended up with third.
Yeah, so he got third place.
Yeah, he had the score to be first.
Yeah, because they're all tied.
Yeah,
Well, yeah. Anyway.
but this year Mark's kind of taking the lead.
Yeah, we got Jay Craig coming from Outlaw Smokers to run the BFO. And Mark's been practicing on the ribs. We all kind of have input, but he's kind of the head guy on the ribs. And then Waylon's coming in to architect on the box, which is a rib box. You just cut the ribs, put them in. but I've got to sell them. That ain't no big deal either.
Yeah.
It's easy to talk about ribs when they're that good. So, I mean, that's why I say this is a guaranteed deal. It's cakewalk. It's cakewalk. All they got to do is put our name on the big check.
Just go ahead and crown them.
KILLERHOGS. Go ahead and crown them. You want to crown them? Crown them.
So, how did you do in Memphis in May?
Fantastic. I thought that's what we spend our day going over. I mean, Memphis in May is over. The dust has settled. Everything's put up. And we just kind of talk about what our experience was like this year at Memphis in May, because it was different. They moved. If anybody knows about Memphis in May, the World Championship Barbecue Cooking Contest, it's always been on the banks of the river, right in downtown Memphis, Tom Lee Park. That's what made it so special, at the foot of Bill Street, in between the bridges, and it's just gorgeous down there. You've got the scenery, the river, the barges, the river boats.
And we've always had a river spot for the past several years.
Yeah, yeah.
I miss that.
That was the biggest
That was the
disappointment.
biggest change, yeah,
But
for me.
logistically, it was so much easier at the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
You had so in Memphis in May, you have to like pay for the size spots you have. And they have small spots, but they have average size spots, and they have, so if you got a big business, you want 2 spots, they'll sell you 2. If you got thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got our normal size spot, which is 34 by 50 something. I don't know the exact measurements, but it's a big spot. It's big enough to get our trailers in and everything we bring. But we had
It's one of the bigger size spots you can rent.
But this year, and they always crowd you in downtown. I mean, you are on top of each other.
And
The
they
other
are
person's
strict.
tent is on your tent. Everybody's fighting for every inch down
Yeah.
there. Here, no, it's just like, okay, we got islands in between us.
Yeah.
There's grass. There's little grass areas. There's trees. They're not in the way. It's all paved parking. And
You had more elbow room.
getting in and out was a breeze. There's no jumping curbs and dealing with mud holes and just
Traffic.
and just the way the park gets. You can imagine in a grass park how nasty it gets.
Well, one big thing with the park is the way they lay it out. The lanes aren't wide enough to get 2 cars down.
It's tight.
So if somebody stopped loading up, or unloading their tent and trailer, it creates a traffic
Did
jam.
you get a? I didn't even.
No
we didn't even
traffic
get in a
jams.
traffic jam this year.
I've sat in a traffic jam for 3 hours before trying to
We've broke
load
a
up.
booth down before the truck could even get to us to
Yeah.
hook up to something before at Memphis. down on
That's
top
how
of the
you
part.
do it. Yeah.
But here it was easy. I'm talking about the easiest ever. What was a Heath Riles old school rib?
I'm gonna be honest. I use mustard on the rib, and I come back to that.
Put the
with a
binder on them?
good layer of garlic jalapeno rub, and then I took my hot rub and I done 3 parts. I done 1 part of sweet rub, 1 part of honey, and 1 part of pecan. Mixed it all in a bag, and put it all in a shaker and lay it on it once.
Instead of splitting it up. So
Butter bath in the wrap and some spicy honey that you might see coming out with my name on it.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
I've been working on for about a year.
Yeah.
To get right. And
How like when you talk
just
about
a spicy honey, kind of like the Mike's Hot Honey.
Okay.
That and
kick.
some more honey rub in the foil. And after that, pull it out, sweet sauce and some more sweet rub on top of that, and let her tack up, and that's it. Send it.
Did you put you didn't mix up the Fab Five? Did you
Nope.
get away from that?
Got away from all of it.
That's too simple right there, man.
Very simple, like scary
Yeah.
simple. I mean, I hate to say that.
I'm a
I've
fan
always
of the
been
simple.
told though, and you think about this: #1 selling barbecue sauce in the world, Sweet Baby Ray's, right?
Yeah.
Well, you go down there to a place like Memphis and May, and they're hit. A lot of people use all our sauces and all our rubs down there. There's no telling how many places I walked by that had mine and your stuff sitting out there, and a lot of other good brands that we're in the market with. And Blues Hog that won it. Blues Hog is one of the most favorable comp sauces there is. But I just wanted to do something different, and it worked. And I think the tenderness factor helped, but there is no secret recipe. That's why I don't mind telling it to you, and I do have a video. They're trying to get it edited to come out.
Of
And
the
I
Memphis
will,
and May?
you know, it's kind of my Memphis and May video. It don't show you everything, but I am going to film a video, whether it's myself or whether it's you or something, and put it out there. I don't have anything to hide. You still got to cook it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way I am.
No, you're right. I mean, I've always been that way too. There ain't no secrets. If it hit for you that day, it could have just easily been the
Dead
other.
last.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about cooking it and nailing the doneness. I mean, and everybody's go, "What's your recipe?" Well, I'll tell you. Oh, he must be joking. No, come watch. I mean, I really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me. How long have I been known to share recipes with people? I don't care.
Yeah. Always. I've never asked you something you steered me wrong. I mean, it's always.
I mean, I ain't got no reason to fib about it. I mean, it ain't nothing but a piece of barbecue. We ain't saved nobody's life.
So you did a few TikTok recipes.
I did some summertime stuff. Started with I don't know if it's
The big one was the apple pie baked beans.
that man. People loved it. That's such a good and easy apple pie baked bean recipe.
Where'd you get that idea from?
That came from Jamie Williams.
It is.
Jamie and Mark make that. Like they've always made apple pie baked beans
Ever since I've known them.
Yeah, that was. But it's like I don't know. It's a way to jazz up regular old baked beans, and all it is, you're adding a can of apple pie filling, and it's just chunks of apples cooked in spice. It's sweet, so it's got a really good element to it. The appleness goes with barbecue.
Yeah.
You know, there's sweet sauce and apples go together with barbecue.
I don't like apple pie filling. I don't like the spiciness. I'm not crazy about cooked apples, but it works really well in baked beans.
Yeah. Well, and so it has meat in it too.
Yeah.
You cook a pound of breakfast sausage. You can also do ground beef with it, a pound of that too. But I just did a pound of breakfast sausage.
I like the texture of sausage better.
When you get it brown, and you throw in some onion, like a half an onion chopped up and half a red bell pepper chopped up. You can use any color bell pepper you want.
When I do it, I buy the frozen one.
Do
the
you?
Frozen.
Just because it's easy. I like the fresh. I like the texture it gives. I want my bell
Yeah.
pepper to still have some taste, and my onion not to just be disappeared in a bean, you know?
Yeah,
And it's 2 cans of whatever. I like Bush's baked beans, just the regular old Bush's.
me too.
Usually when I'm making it, I'm buying the big can, the industrial one, draining it because
we're
it makes
making it for a
it makes a large pan of beans. But when you're cooking them at home, like in a Dutch oven, it's just 2 of the 28-ounce cans drained. Get the juice off of them because you're fixing to add more sauce to it.
That's people always ask, like, what's the secret to your baked beans? I say, drain the
Yeah.
beans and add a better sauce.
That's
you know?
right. Or I don't even think you have to add a really expensive
No.
barbecue sauce.
I like Cattleman's.
Whatever's on
or
sale.
Sweet Baby Ray's.
Yeah. Usually we have Cattleman's or Ray's on sale. And it was 97 cents. That's the cheapest I've seen barbecue sauce in a long time.
The bottle has to cost.
I would think. I mean, as much high as plastic
Yeah.
is now. But it was 97 cents at Kroger for that bottle. And we bought the original Sweet Baby Ray's. I mean, they got 1,000 different flavors.
Yeah, the original's the best.
Yeah, for baked beans. You just want to save your expensive sauce for some butt or some ribs or some brisket or
Yeah,
something
I
like that
agree.
chicken. And then sauce you're putting in something like that, just go cheap. So
I didn't realize how important that step was, and I left out that you said it was 98 cents in the TikTok, and everybody was so upset that you said Sweet Baby Ray's was a cheap sauce, but he got it on sale for 98 cents. Like
that's pretty cheap.
That is really cheap.
How was
What's the cheaper sauce?
Yeah,
What is the cheap sauce?
I don't know if there's another one in that. If you can get a sauce below $1, get it.
I know Cattleman's is $3 for a small bottle.
I mean, I guess Sweet Baby Ray's is normally $3, but Kroger had it on sale for 97 cents. And the point of that is, whatever they got on sale, use that one.
Yeah.
And even if I'm doing People's Choice, that's my trick on that too. I always use, if you're in a town cooking a barbecue contest, it's a People's Choice. Go to the local store, get whatever sauce is on sale, and put that in the meat. Because people know that flavor and they're used to buying that.
That's a good
And
tip.
the public is going to identify with that on sale sauce. That's what they're putting in beans. That's what they're
like
putting.
when you do Memphis, you say you would use Corky's, or you used to when you
that's right.
cook other places. Yeah.
That's a fact. That's a fact. But so the rest of the beans, you add the 2 cans of beans in there drained. You add your meat with the onions and the bell pepper, and then you take your can of apple pie filling. And I like it with the chunks of apples, but you can also chop it up to where it's smaller bites. But I like the big apple in it too. And then 1 bottle, or about, I guess, 18 ounces of barbecue sauce, tablespoon of Worcestershire, tablespoon of yellow mustard, and 2 tablespoons of hot rub. That's all it is. Oh, and some brown sugar. I threw in some brown sugar too.
Yeah, pretty good bit.
1 cup.
You actually use the W sauce instead of Worcestershire. What is the difference between the W sauce and actual Worcestershire?
W sauce,
like a Lee and Pearl.
it's kind of more like a marinade than just a Worcestershire. Worcestershire is real watery, and it's just Worcestershire sauce. I mean, it's got the tamarind, the anchovy flavor. That's what gives it sauce. Well, W sauce has a consistency to it.
It does.
So it's got like some vegetable puree or something else in there to give it body. It's got some different flavors to it, and it still has a lot of Worcestershire sauce in. That's the primary flavor. It's just got some other stuff to go with it, and we ordered it for the shop, and I was seeing people use it on TikTok, and I said, I got to try it. And it's pretty dang good.
It is good.
Like, I'm using it in place of Worcestershire and Liam Perrins now. So,
have you tried the spicy one?
no, I have. I saw we got it in stock.
Yeah.
I hadn't tried it, but it's good stuff. I like it. It was good on burgers. We put it in some burgers. We marinate kind of when we mixed up the patties. It's dang good. I put it on steak like as a binder, or put seasoning on. Just put a light coat of it on there, let it set, and then put my seasons on.
How many do you have?
Oh, I don't have that many.
The last time I counted, it was like 35, 36.
No, I don't have that many.
I mean,
I've slowly been
commercial.
retiring. Yeah.
Retiring.
I have about 4. I'm still needing one. Well, I got that. I got 5 now as I got this Argentine. But it's for research purposes. It don't even count. That's the way it works, right? See, I'm waffling there.
I bet you have.
And a deep fryer. You need a deep fryer too. Your outdoor, the outdoor area is one of the most important parts of your home nowadays. To me,
I agree.
It's where all the fun happens.
It's
just It's the extension of your kitchen. It lets you have the kitchen, and us guys can get the outdoors. And you cook in it too. We'll let you do sides. I'm poking the bear now.
Well, I have 7, so I know that the numbers are
So
next.
Tyler, he's
You
only
have
been with us.
7?
He hasn't been with us 2 years yet. He's already up to 7 grills.
How many did you have when you started here?
0.
Oh, really?
I had a gas grill. I'm sorry, but it's sat in the garage. Then got a pellet grill. I got a little charcoal, like kind of camp grill, I guess, or whatever. That was kind of how I started that. Have a Weber kettle. Have my Traeger. Have a Blackstone. Have another Blackstone going.
See?
Yeah. And then I still have that gas grill.
And he's still working. Still early, Tyler. Wait till you get the 3-year mark.
I see that drum looks mighty fine.
The drum. I forgot about a drum. Everybody needs a drum.
So we're up to 6 minimum.
6 minimum. You need a big outdoor area. Also, he told me they've kicked around another idea that Arcasipi spoke. Ronald Burns and John Lindsay have stepped up to sponsor like it's a middle of the pack showdown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is going to be like after the contest, they're going to draw 2 random people out that finished 11th through how many ever it out.
Yeah.
And they're going to bring them up. They're going to have steaks ready, meats ready, and judges ready. And the middle of the pack people are going to have a showdown to win some cash.
Wow.
And it makes it interesting. It makes you want to go to the awards.
Yeah.
Makes you want to stick around, and see how these guys did. I mean, just because you didn't get in the top 10 don't mean you can't cook a good steak. So you still got a chance to prove it and win some money that day. So
that's
going to be that's going to be fun.
It's like Iron Chef style.
Kind of. Yeah, the grill's going to be up there hot. You're going to have a prep table. You're going to get, I don't know if you're going to get 1 or 2 steaks, but you're only going to have like 30. I don't even know.
They give you the
set time. 30 minutes. No, I think you can use whatever you want.
Oh, you can?
Be ready.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Bring them to the awards with you. Because you might get to cook. You might get they ought to just call it the second chance pot.
Yeah, yeah.
But Shane mentioned they're going to do something to where you can side bet it, and they're going to do this thing to where I don't know if it's like a winner take all side bet.
Oh, you can bet on the showdown.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
they're going to have
awesome.
it to where they take odds or who's going to win some kind of way, and it's going to
Like a cockfight.
kind of, but a steak fight.
I love it.
So I didn't get. He didn't tell me all the details. It was just this is early stages, but it sounds like it's going to happen. So that's going to be something different at that event that I hadn't seen.
Yeah, that's funny.
And so it might be worth checking out if you're, you want to come to the state contest and see what's going on. That's going to be a good one. And it's August the 13th.
August 13th, yeah.
In Melbourne, Arkansas.
Yeah.
You can go to.
Beautiful part of the country.
We're sharing it on our social pages, but it's probably on
SCAcookoffs.com.
.com
Yeah.
or.
That's where you go sign up. SCA Cookoffs.
Okay, that's where you sign up for. I didn't know if it had a website.
Just go to their calendar, August 13th. You'll see the link for Townsend.
Or you can go to Townsend Supply Facebook page. I'm sure they got a link to it.
Yeah.
We got a link to it on the community everywhere. So.
Did you go?
I went one time.
Did you do the watermelon crawl?
Yeah, I did something. I think we kidnapped somebody that time. There was a guy that went with us, and he thought we were coming back. We stayed for like 2 or 3 days. He kept saying, "Man, I got to really go home." He was trying to call people. It's like, "Ain't nobody coming to Water Valley to get you, man. You with us." And we just crashed at some dude's house and had a pool. His parents were gone or something. This dude was scared. Like, he was really scared. I was like, "Man, it'll be okay." It was like me, Big Easy, and I forget who else was Justin.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a fun time. We met everybody in Water Valley. It was a big deal. And then we just had this dude with us.
It was freaking out.
I don't even know how he must have been at the bar when we were talking about going. He's like, "I'll go," and we all just jumped in the car. And I told you, "I'll be back." We weren't married then. We were
no.
Yeah, I mean, there was a barbecue. There's a barbecue contest there now. When we went, it was just a watermelon festival. They had bands and stuff.
I remember y'all telling me about it when you got back.
We brought that dude back. He was like the guy that was pinned up in the trailer. We got him back when Big Easy's Cadillac got back to South Haven.
He broke out.
He was out.
Never seen him
Hadn't
again.
seen him since. We have this thing, we get these people we just don't see them very often. Hang out with us one time and you're
He
gone.
went by his own free will.
He wasn't coerced or we didn't tie him up or anything.
He just
We weren't ready to come back, and so therefore, if he had the opportunity, if he wanted to call somebody, they would have been out in the middle of nowhere if they could have found him in Water Valley. But
this is a long time
he could have
ago.
walked. Yeah,
I don't even. This is before like cell phones.
Oh yeah, I still had the old Motorola.
Yeah.
Fat Motorola. I mean, this was back early 2000s.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So someone asked speaking of state contests and SCA contests, someone asked on the community page which Killer Hog seasoning combination works best on a competition steak.
You want to win?
Yeah.
AP and hot.
AP
with
and hot.
a little finely ground steak at the back end when it comes off.
So what's the
finishing rub.
Walk me through your method.
To cook that SCA, to win an SCA contest, every single time you cook, to get a call. I mean, it's pretty much automatic. I don't know anybody that doesn't get it. You
pick your steak.
You pick your steak.
How do you pick a steak?
I'm looking for one. I like the wrap spinalis. I mean, I know some people like what they call the tri-heart with the big spinalis on the front. Those are, they're great steaks, and they're, but a lot of times they take a little bit longer to cook. I've done the best with the ones that it's about midways down the ribeye, where it's got a good thick spinalis that wraps, and then you got a good heart, because that's where they cut it across. And I try to keep that fat not too thick in between the spinalis and the heart of the ribeye,
That way, if they do mess up and cut wrong, you're not getting to the big fat pocket.
When you're talking about cut wrong.
Yeah, when it goes into the cut table, because I don't know how they cut them or who's cutting them or whatever. But I want them to get a good cut. The way I put it in the box, I want them to cut straight across that loin so you can judge my doneness. That's what I'm concentrating. I mean, the spinalis is going to be good. You know, you can't hardly mess
and
it
that's
up.
Where you're taking
but it's that
from.
rib loin that's the important part, and that's the part that we try to nail our tenderness on, or our doneness on, the color of it, all that. I mean, the tenderness, they're judging that spinalis, so it's probably, usually pretty good.
So when you turn in an SEA steak, it goes to a cut table.
That's right.
And it gets cut straight in half.
Usually they cut it right across from like 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. We put it in the box.
And they kind of
I guess that's how they used to do it. I don't think they've changed that.
Yeah, this is how they used to do it.
Yeah. Hey, good going.
But they judge your doneness on how it's cut.
Yeah, they look at that cut, and it's supposed to be a closest to perfect medium.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much pink across it. Not red, not gray, no gray, then pink, then gray, just perfectly pink all the way across it. And there's charts out there that show you what a perfect score looks like. Yeah, what a perfect score looks like on doneness.
And then once they judge the doneness, it hits the table, and everybody uses their own knife.
Well, they judge appearance. They judge, appearance is probably first, then doneness, and then it hits that first judge, and they're cutting them a piece off. And you got to think, they're using plastic utensils. So it's a plastic fork and a plastic knife. That's what they're using to cut these. So you've got to have it tender enough to where it'll cut. That steak's tough. You're going to get gigged. Now, I don't know. I mean, is there a steak that's too tender? If I'm judging and what's too tender? I mean,
mush
or raw, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. To me, tenderness is one of those things that's either it's tender or it's not. Yeah. It's not like it's almost tender, or it's not quite, you know what I mean? To me, it's all or not. And the same thing with appearance. It's like, does it look good or does it not look good?
Yeah. I've never had a steak and said, this is just too tender for me.
Yeah, yeah, this is just way too tender. I don't know what they did, but they over-tendered it. No, that doesn't happen. But so that's kind of the judging process. Now, going back to the cooking process, if you want to win, get you some AP rub. And you put the AP rub on the outside of that steak and you sweat it for about 30 minutes. Now, I'd usually do this.
How heavy?
I'd say I don't go super heavy on none of them. It's a light to medium coat of AP rub. It's basically a dry brine. So we get our steaks, we usually get them on ice, get them really cold. We trim them up. Tie them up with butcher twine. The reason why we tie them is to keep a nice uniform shape. I don't want it to look like a hockey puck, but I don't want it to be all spread out and just, looking like a good steak. It's got to be uniform. If I'm eating them at home, I ain't tying them up. That's the way a home cooked steak looks. But I'm going for something that, looks like you put some effort into it to hold its shape.
Yeah.
Usually it's kind of oblong. I usually pick the best side. I think most people are right-handed, so that means they're cutting with their left and eating the fork with a knife. So I try to get that spinalis to where it wraps.
Oh, you've thought about
right
this.
to left. Yeah. That's how I'm going to go. So that's going to be my top side. I'm going to try to trim it up, take any excess fat off I can. Depending on how the steak feels, do I tenderize it or not? When I say tenderize it, we have I bought them off Amazon, but it's called an onion slicer, and it looks like kind of like a fork. It
looks like a hair pick.
Yeah, like a hair pick. It's got, but it's real sharp. And so we'll take that and just kind of fork or put those little blades down through the ribeye. Maybe the spinalis. I usually do it all, but I don't get real aggressive with that. I'll do both sides, and then I'll put it back in the cooler or on ice in a pan, usually kind of covered in foil. We're just letting it set till about I like to go about an hour before turn in. That's when I usually go. So usually what I'll do, I'll start me a chimney of coals, then I'll get my steak out of the cooler and go ahead and season it with the AP rub on both sides. It's tied up, and then every 10, 15 minutes I'll flip it because I got seasoning on both sides, and it'll start pulling out moisture more so on that surface contact side on the bottom.
And it's room
temp. So I'll flip it over.
Time.
It's room temp. Yeah, we're putting it out. Now, it's not outside and 100-degree heat like today.
Yeah.
We usually cook in our barbecue trailer, and we have an AC unit go. So I would guess it's 70-something degrees in there. Good even temperature. It's not super hot in the sun, but it's still, slowly coming up to room temp. once the coals get ready, I'll cook on a PK grill. You can cook on any grill. Weber grill's probably one the most money with, but I started cooking on PK just because they pack down easier. But once we, dump our hot coals in, it's been about 20 minutes, dump the coals in the grill, get the grates brushed off, close the lid, letting the grill slowly come up to temp. I like to give it about 30 minutes before we know we're going to go to cook. 15 minutes out, I'll season it with a little hot rub. And that's really just for color. I want that steak to have almost not deep mahogany look like you expect ribs or barbecue to have, but you want to have some color on it. You want it to brown all the way across. You want it to have some of those red tones to it. You want to see some of the seasoning on it. And that's why I use the hot rub. So I'll put that lightly on both sides, and it'll set just 10, 15 minutes before it's going to hit the grill. Now, I've already taken some of my steak rub and run it through a little coffee grinder, kind of powderized it. And that's the last little finishing dust that I'm using. But I'm going to cook that steak on that grill grate. I want my grill grate to be, I'm right at between 525, 550 for the sear part.
That's pretty precise.
I'll get my grill marks on it, and usually it's about 1:30 to 2 minutes, depending on the thickness of the steak. I mean, all these steaks cook different. Depends on how hot it is outside or whatever. Like right now, I'm probably cooking 1:30 on my initial perfect grill marks where I'm getting judged on appearance. And then I'm going up to a little raised rack and flipping it over and finishing it off slow. I'm sticking a probe through the loin, right through the side of it, the center heart of that ribeye. I'm watching those temperatures, and once it gets up to about 131, I start looking at close between 128, 130, right in there. But usually the go tip's about 131, 132. It's coming off now. When it goes up to that raised rack, I like to have me a little pot that I put some butter in. I'll season it with a little bit of AP rub, and I'll just kind of don't touch the surface of the steak, just kind of drizzle it over it and let that butter get on it and just kind of cook down and drip and, smell good.
That's a good tip even for home cooking.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do that all the time.
Why do you not rub the actual steak?
Because it'll brush off your seasoning, brush off your marks. When you go to rubbing on it with the basting brush, you're going to push stuff off of it. I just want it to kind of fall over it gently. And then I'll also sprinkle a little bit of that steak rub on it as I'm doing that butter. Not super heavy or anything. It's just a lightly little seasoning. And then when it comes off, I'm giving it at least a 5 to 7 minute rest. Sometimes I'll go 10 minutes, and often we'll leave that probe in there, and I want to see how far that steak carries over. I don't want it to go too far because it'll get past medium. But if it jumps up to 138 to 140, it's about perfect. That's where you want it to carry over to. And that's usually about 8 degrees, something like that.
High.
I know it sounds high, but it really is. It's medium. And you like yours medium rare. So
yeah,
it's like you're out of the SCA
I know.
realm right there. But to get that perfect medium cut, you've got to let it carry to that far. And some guys are taking those tri-hearts to 145.
Yeah, I've heard that.
That's where they end up finishing. But I started out taking them off at 127, 128. And we kind of got to that 131, 132, and that's
when you first started doing it. You were taking them off at 126.
Yeah, I've took them off there.
I think in the video that you actually do, like
it's like it's changed. It's changed over the years in SCA. Now, I haven't cooked an SCA contest in a while. Like I let Michael start cooking them, and he was kind of following that same philosophy. I let him season them however he wanted to season them. But as far as wouldn't take them off and stuff, that stuff's pretty same. I mean, you can win with that, no doubt. No doubt in my mind, you could go to bat with that.
Have you seen that the Traeger has a new bold pellet? Have you noticed that?
No, is it like these flavored pellets where they've got?
Yeah, you've got some. Have you used them?
I hadn't used them.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they sent me a bag. I hadn't used them yet.
I opened up a bag the other day.
What did it have? Like onion flakes
like
and rosemary
and
yeah. See, did you cook with those or did you just open them?
No, I cooked with them.
Oh, I was going to save those for Thanksgiving. You couldn't tell.
Tell a lick of difference.
Yeah. We would take dehydrated onion flake and add to our pellet hopper when I was cooking on Yoder's, because we always, our contest cooking, MBN style and Memphis and May style, we would burn onions and garlics in our coal bed along with the wood to give us more aromatics, to get that. And I said, it's got to be it's mixing with the smoke. It smells dang good while it's doing it. Why not use that philosophy over on a pellet grill?
Yeah.
And so we were adding stuff to the pellet grill, way before they come out with blends that did it.
Yeah, is that?
And Kingsford has some too.
Yeah, they do.
They have a bunch of different stuff in their pellets that, it's probably just filler. Way to market it.
Yeah.
Sell it more expensive to you.
It was pretty strong when I opened.
Does it work? Yeah, the scent of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just talking to Tyler.
Are they? Can you taste the difference?
No.
That's a question to test out. See if you had a group of people and you cooked. You had a control, and then you use these other pellets, and tell me what you think the flavor is from the smoke.
Pick
Use a neutral seasoning, maybe just salt, and then smoked environment, controlled temp on everything. See if you could tell. Same kind of grills, just change the pellets out. I don't think you could. I don't think I could.
I don't think you could.
I don't think I could, especially when you're using rubs and sauces and all this other stuff. Could you tell?
I can't tell, and maybe I don't pick up on those subtle flavors. I can't tell any difference.
Think I could tell. From
brand to brand to flavor to flavor.
The only thing I can tell is which ones burn decent, which ones produce less ash, and which ones, seem to run through my pellet grill better.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot of difference. I'm not buying the fact that there's all these different pellet companies with different machines making all these pellets.
You think it's all being made like it?
I think there's only a few, and they're probably relabeling a bunch of them. Who knows? I mean, think of charcoal. There's not that many different charcoal. There's all kinds of brands of charcoal, but they're probably only made at a few places. They just relabel. I know Kingsford and Royal Oak, I guarantee you do. Make a bunch of different brands.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Stores will make their own brand. I mean, you look at all like the old Diz and all those old ones, that you used to see. That was just Royal Oak,
I do like Traeger's new pellet bag. They have like a little spot where it's easy open. You don't have to use your teeth anymore. Yeah. And they've got like a resealable.
Yeah. We've brought this brand called Bear Mountain into the shop. Along with, we sell Traeger pellets, we sell the Royal Oak charcoal pellet, all charcoal, and we sell these Bear Mountains now. And I really like the Bear Mountains. They're good pellets. They're a little bit bigger pellet. Now, it does look like it's manufactured at a different place than Traeger's are, and Barbecuer's Delight and things like that, because it's just a fatter pellet.
Oh, it's a whole different shape. Yeah.
Their extruder looks different, but I don't know.
That's cool.
I could be completely off base. This could be just, conspiracy theory I'm thinking, but I just don't think there's that many different people making pellets.
So
prove me wrong.
Yeah, you're just paying for the name or whatever.
I don't know where. I don't have no idea where pellet. I know Barbecuer's Delight's over in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and they make a bunch, and I've heard they've relabeled before, and I know that there are several brands that they made. So
I'm with you.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean,
I just don't think that there's.
I may have a charcoal one day. I'm not going to buy a charcoal plant.
I just don't think there's a reason to clean your hopper to I got to pull the cherry pellets out and put the hickory pellets in.
Yeah, I'd never do that.
Just run them.
When I talk about these pellet dumps and people getting hung up on grills not having a pellet clean out, I could see having the pellet clean out for when you want to clean the grill, like you want to clean your hopper, vacuum it all out, get all the whatever dust is in there out. But to change out flavors of pellets, because I think this chicken's going to taste different than these ribs or something, you would never, I don't think you'd know.
They're all the same.
They're all the same. That's your theory. Shell's saying they're all the same.
So it's like super.
They have different. They do use different woods, but a lot of these pellets, you got to think the base pellet. It's a hardwood, so it could be oak, it could be hickory, it's a combination of. That's usually the base of them. And then when they do add stuff for unless it says 100% cherry wood pellet, it's a combination. So they're all like a blend,
I don't even know.
And Traeger was they had a lot of people. I don't know if it was they had to address it or not, but they were using some kind of a wood flavored oil or something on their pellets to be able to call them like maple and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, they had a whole thing about that, and I don't know whatever happened of it, but I'm sure these companies still do it. I know when they used to make the Jack Daniels pellets, I think they'd pour a little Jack Daniels in there. Like when you open it up, you can smell it. They were spraying the pellets with a little bit of Jack Daniels before they bagged them.
Do they not make those anymore?
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'd try it.
We used to.
I've cooked with them. Can you tell that? No. You can smell it, but you can't tell it's been cooked with. Oh, that's been cooked with Jack Daniels pellets.
It's good party conversation.
That's right.
Go get my Jack Daniels pellets.
Now, I will say, you take the charcoal pellet versus wood pellet. you're not going to get the wood flavor from those charcoal pellets like you do wood pellets, but you get the heat, you get, longer burn times. It gets the grill hotter faster, the charcoal pellets do, and they don't absorb moisture, where some of my pellets, if I leave them sitting out and forget them, they're going to start they're like a sponge. Any moisture around, they're going to draw it.
Heck yeah. So, that's kind of what they're used for in some applications.
They use some pine pellets for bedding, or just, I guess, crap wood that they can't use for cooking fuel or house fuel. Fuel, they'll use them for bedding.
That would be a good experiment. You'd have to get the same 3 grills.
You have the same grill, same temperature, same food. Just change the pellets and see if you could. And maybe we'll have to come back and we'll have to address this again and take everything back we're saying.
Just kidding, y'all.
They were really good.
So let's talk about them. Like, the first off, was that the wing? It was similar to the wing that you won at Memphis MA with, world champion wing?
Well, that was as close as I could have got back to it.
Yeah.
Pretty much duplicated what I did at Memphis MA last night.
So let's start off with, what kind of wing were you using?
So, usually I just pick up the whole wings out of Kroger or Walmart, just whatever grocery store is close to you. I like Kroger wings. They got a little better selection. They got a couple different kinds of chicken in there. Most places just got one kind of chicken.
That's
right.
It, but they got that Sanderson's brand, I think, and what we see, and then they got the Heritage brand.
Heritage is what the Heritage ones are the ones that I like to cook.
Family tray pack, right?
Yep, the big pack. And
they're good sized wings.
Oh yeah. They're good sized wings, but those are the ones that I like to cook. And generally just take them. You can bust them up, or you can cook them whole.
What do you? So at Memphis MA, what'd you do? Did you bust them up or cook them?
No. I cooked them whole.
Okay.
The ones y'all had last night were busted up.
Split flats.
Yeah, we split them out.
Flats with the flapper.
Yeah.
And then the drum.
I do like how you keep the flapper even if you break up that whole wing, you keep the flapper on that flat. I like that. I appreciate that.
I do too.
I didn't do that on purpose all the time, but I got to where that's the way I do it now, because it's easier to eat when you pick it up.
Yep.
Yeah,
and you still got that flapper.
Man, there's some skinny meat on that. You eat right along that little flapper line. Shoot.
It's usually really good and crispy.
Talking to a wing expert here. I know how to eat a wing. I can cook them as good as you, but I can eat them.
But I do feel like the bone pulls out a little easier for that flat, and you got the handle.
Yeah.
With the
So let's start. You took those wings and you split them. You don't have to, but you did.
You don't have to. But
so what's the next step?
So once you split them, just make sure they're patted dry. Try to get all the moisture off the skin that you can. Pat them dry. Once you pat them dry, you usually spray them down with. I like to use duck fat, but you can use some kind of cooking spray that you have. Just lightly coat those wings.
Getting a little fat, get the moisture off, getting fat back on.
That's right.
Do you have any spray that you prefer if it's not duck fat?
Not really. Normally,
whatever you got.
Whatever I got in the cabinet. I try to
canola spray or vegetable spray or whatever.
Yeah, you can go with. I think they even make olive oil spray.
Yeah.
Any of those would probably work fine. And I probably used all of them at one point or another, so they never have a bad one off of them. So you can probably use any of them. So once I spray them down, I usually. I'll just run you through the Killer Hog or the Honey Gold Hot.
Okay.
I usually put the Killer Hog's hot rub on it.
First layer.
About a medium coat, light to medium coat it, first layer. And then I go back with the Swine Life grind, which is Martin M's rub, their barbecue rub. And I do
excellent on poultry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I usually do about the same, amount on. It's about even.
Not heavy on either one.
Not heavy on either one. Yeah, you don't. If you like that pasty, thick, bark that sets on that wing and you put a heavy rub on it, that's up to you. But I don't do that.
That's a little too muddy for me.
Yeah, it gets muddy. That's a good.
Yeah,
that's a good way to describe it. It gets muddy once you put sauce on it. It gets muddy, and I don't like muddy wings. So, so I usually do a light to medium coat of both of those on it. Once I do that, by that time you should have your grill ready to go. You run it up to about. You can go through. I want to cook 300 and above on the wings, on the grill. 300 to 325. I try to keep it in that range. Pellet grills are excellent to cook them on. There's not a lot of maintenance to that and watching, and so they're really easy. So you can pretty much put them on there and let them go, and you might have to move them around on your hot spots on your grill. But
do you put them on a rack, or you just drip on the grill rack itself?
I always put them just straight on the grill.
Straight on the grate.
Mm-hmm, straight on the grate. But I prefer to cook my wings in a drum.
Drum UDS, yeah. Okay.
I prefer to cook them like that.
How'd you cook them at Memphis May?
I cooked them on a pellet grill at Memphis May. Somebody forgot the drum.
Yeah.
Forgot to bring the drum. But so I could see that because you get the flavor on the drum is, you get that extra smoked flavor. But I will say this, those wings last night off that Traeger had an awesome smoke flavor.
They did. They had a good grill flavor.
It was not, a bland at all. You could pick up some of the smoke, some of that grilled taste from them.
Yeah.
So how long? So we're at 300 degrees. We're on the grate. When are you going to start messing with them? Or are you doing flipping? How long do they go?
I usually check them about half to 3/4 way through the cook. I want to see what my skin looks like, especially on a drum. Now, when you're doing them on the drum, you're on that direct heat. So generally, I'll have a heat shield in the bottom of that thing to kind of keep that direct heat off of it, and just let it circulate around.
You're still going 300 on the drum?
Still going 300.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because if you leave it directly over that fire in that drum, just running that high, it may scorch its skin on one side or the other. But
so what's halfway? Are we talking 30 minutes or
30 to 45 minutes? I want to open it up and just peek at them real quick and pick one up and make sure that I don't need to turn them over. Because sometimes on your pellet grills, they will get a little more cooked on the bottom side where it's touching the grate. And I want that wing to be even. Especially if I'm cooking in a contest. Yes.
Yeah.
So, I want both sides even.
35, 40 minutes. Flip them.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same thing. Let them run for 300 degrees. And then at that hour mark, you need to come back and start probing them.
So is that your test? Are you picking them up and pulling on them? You just sticking them with a thermometer?
No, I'm just sticking with the thermometer. Once I see that 200 mark, and your flats are going to get done faster than your drums. And if you want them done at the exact same time, you may want to stick your drums on there a little early.
So the drums take longer than the flats.
The drumette's going to take a little longer than the flats.
There. Yeah, know that. I guess
it depends on size too.
Sometimes
you get them. Yeah, sometimes you get one every now and then a wing that's got a drum about the big as your thumb. It's going.
Yeah.
It'll finish out about like a flat.
But watching that internal temperature, that's one of the questions I always get. My skin's rubbery. Chicken's not coming off the bone. What can I do? I'm cooking at this temp. First, that 300 degrees is key when you're doing chicken. Yep. And getting the moisture off that wing before you season. That's an excellent tip. And then probing it and knowing, yes, it's done. It's safe to eat at 165, but a wing is not good till it gets up close to 200. Yeah. And they can take it. I mean, you think about it, there's not that much meat on a wing. I mean, it's mainly skin. Yeah. It's got some fat under that skin. And there's some meat there. They're good. It's my favorite piece of chicken. I love them. It's football food. But anyway, that's the key. Take those wings up to that high. Don't be scared to run them up 195, 200 degrees.
No, I don't think I don't have ever dried one out running it up to 195, 200. And I mean, some of those last night were about 202, 203. They went that far and they weren't dry. So
one thing I like about taking them that far is they jump off the bone.
Yeah.
They're still moist. They still got plenty of juice in the wing, but it comes off clean in a bite. And there's nothing better than that.
Can't stand having to pull meat off.
You have to work on it. Yeah, you shouldn't have to work on a chicken wing.
No,
it should. It's not falling apart, but when you put it in your mouth and apply a little teeth pressure. It's coming off. So, at what point are you mixing up your sauce you're going to put them in? Are you making that up while the?
Yeah, once I got them on the grill, put the wings on the grill. I come back inside, start working on my sauce. So I'm putting that, mixing that up in a bowl. I get my all my cold ingredients in there because you want to heat that sauce up. That's key. You don't want to be putting hot chicken wings down in cold sauce. And I always toss my wings too.
So let's talk about this hot honey gold sauce. How can somebody go about? They may not have all the ingredients you have. They may not have the championship hot honey gold sauce. But let's start them off. I'll
give you a good basic.
Okay, let's start it off. I'm not asking anybody for the secret. I give my secrets out. I'm not asking anybody else to. You've got a few more wing contests you want to win. Let's start with that hot honey gold sauce.
So first thing is your base is going to be your Carolina Gold sauce, which I use
Cattleman's.
It's a really good sauce.
Carolina Gold.
And you can pick those up in small bottles. You can get them in half gallons, and you can get them in a full gallon. We got some full gallons here that we have. And I use that. And then I use Frank's Red Hot Wing Sauce.
The wing sauce. Not Frank's Red Hot sauce.
Not the hot sauce, the wing sauce itself.
What does it have already, that butter flavor mixed
It's already got, it's already broke up.
Probably got an oil, or it's probably not real butter. It's probably some kind of oil.
Yeah. And then, put in Killer Hog's hot sauce, and then I mix butter into all that. and a little
extra butter into that.
Yes.
How much? So let's give a basic measurement. Get them go. We're talking cup.
So,
or do you do a bottle?
No. So if you got the half gallon, just say you got the half gallon, let's see what the measurements will be on that. See, I don't have this wrote down. I know it about heart,
this is
so it's an eyeball.
You do it by feel.
Well, I do it. I check it and see what it tastes like.
Yeah.
But I'll take that little half gallon. I use about 3/4 of that. So you're looking at
that's a good bit.
A quarter. So I make a lot of it when I make it because that's just the way I've always done it. You can break it down further, but once I do that, I put let's just say we use a whole half gallon. I'm gonna put about a half a cup to a cup of the wing sauce, the Frank's Red Hot. Depending on how hot you want it or how vinegary you want it. I don't like mine too vinegary. I want you to be able to get those notes, but not too much. It ain't a hot wing.
Because that mustard sauce has some vinegar.
Yeah, it does. And
the
then
butter, stick of butter.
Yeah, well, half a stick. I'm gonna put about a half a stick of butter in there, a little bit of Worcestershire, and some spicy honey.
Like Mike's hot honey or something like that.
Yeah,
that's the only thing. No dry seasoning goes in the sauce at all. You don't have to do that. Okay,
not on this one.
Okay, and so you mix that up, and then you bring it up to a simmer, or do you have an ideal temperature that you like it to be?
If you don't have I have a stainless steel bowls that I like to heat my sauce in.
Okay,
I bought these stainless steel mixing bowls years ago. I got deep. They'll hold about 2 to 3 quarts of sauce, and they're great for the grill. So I'll put them on the grill, let that sauce come up, really slow, or put them on a hot eye, and then just stir it until do not let it boil.
Oh, you don't want to bring it to
no.
That's too hot.
Yeah, it's too hot.
Okay.
If you see it start bubbling, you need to get it out of there.
Yeah. You see a few bubbles, it's ready.
Yeah, and then just gradually stir that, or you can put it in a plastic bowl or some kind of microwave safe dish and just heat it up slow. Go a minute. Pull it out, stir it, check it, put it back in 30-second intervals till you get it up to where it's warm and it's hot enough it's not boiling.
All right. So our wings are done. They've temped out.
They temp out.
Take them off the grill. How do you put the sauce to them?
All right. So usually I pull all my wings off, put them in a pan. I've got them sitting there. I take one of these. What is the bowls that the cleared bowls with the red top?
Oh yeah, they're just like
the real Rubbermaid with a snap lid.
Rubbermaid.
Yeah, they're the cheapest Rubbermaid.
Those are the best things. The shake
throwaway. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Takeaways or whatever they're called.
Throwaways. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But you can reuse them.
Get them in a 2-pack at like Kroger or Walmart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's usually what I toss some wings in because you can put the lid on that. And you can shake it. It don't get all over you.
5 or 6 or dozen at a time maybe.
Usually do 4 to 6 at a time.
So small batches.
How
much sauce you reckon?
I pour about a cup of sauce in there for each batch.
Okay.
And pour that in there. Toss your wings. Pull them back out. Plate them up how you want to. You're done.
That's it. Working batches.
That's it. Working batches.
So
it's a Rubbermaid take-along bowl.
Take-along. There was something like take-along.
And they are 15.7 cup serving bowl. So
it's pretty good size. It's a pretty good size bowl, but I buy them, and when I'm doing multiple, see what I like about it, I'll do what you did kind of with the wing, the seasoning. I might cook a big grill full of those.
Yeah.
But I'll have 3 or 4 sauces, and I'll have a bowl for each one. That way I'm not having to wash them out or, go from flavor to flavor.
Yeah.
So the other wing you did, what do you call it? Is it just your hot wing?
That's my version of a buffalo wing.
So was that the same seasoning, same cook procedure?
Same, no. Season was different.
Okay, let's talk about how you season those.
So that one I go with a base layer of the AP, really light on the AP.
Salt, pepper, garlic.
Yep, light to medium on the Killer Hogs Hot. And then I mix my salt, same process. You still,
300 degrees.
Yep. You still drying them and spraying them duck fat before you season these wings. And then after that, you go on the grill with them 300 degrees till they tip out at 200 degrees or right at that area. And then bring them in, same process with saucing them. But the sauce is a lot different, though. It's a straight buffalo.
Can you share that one?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk.
So that one.
I'm making mental notes on this.
I had to write this down because I knew I'd leave
beat
something
Mikey in
out.
a wing contest. I hadn't done it yet.
So it's Frank's Red Hot Wing Sauce.
Same
not
wing
the hot
sauce.
sauce. It's the wing sauce itself. I usually put about the same ratio. I make a pretty big bowl of it, about a quart to half gallon.
The big bottle.
Big bottle.
Yeah.
And once you put that in there, you got your butter goes in, half a stick of butter, same thing. I usually use Killer Hog's hot sauce to go in there with a little more flavor. And then I've got a list here.
Let's do it. Don't be shy.
Man, we got celery salt, rosemary.
Rosemary. Really?
They wasn't in those last night because we didn't have none in the pantry back there.
Yeah.
But use the one I cook them at home. I put rosemary.
Like ground rosemary or just
you can use the full leaf or you can use the ones that are busted up.
Yeah,
you can use either one.
Okay.
The ones that are busted up, you'll understand why in a minute. But anyway, so cumin, onion powder, black pepper, cracked red pepper, and then a cayenne to whatever level you want it at.
That's how you get them from hot to extra hot to suicide.
Once you mix this up, this is going to be about a medium to, what would you have called those last night? Medium to hot?
Yeah. They didn't blow my head off. They were eating. That's the way I want to eat a hot wing.
Yeah. I didn't feel like I can't eat another one of those, but my lips were tingling a little.
Yeah.
What I got from them was the savoriness. I got all those flavors, whatever you seasoned it up with.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, you get a traditional buffalo wing. It's just butter and hot sauce.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of neutral. But when you have those flavors in there with it, it changes the wing.
Yeah. I treat this sauce a little different when I do it when I'm cooking at home. This one will probably sit on the eye on not a simmer. It's kind of the same way with the other wing sauce. I don't want it to boil as soon as it starts doing it, but I will let this one sit for the entire cook. I usually make this one before I start cooking.
Could you make any of those sauces beforehand, put them in the fridge, and then warm them up?
Oh yeah, I've given this one away before.
So you make a
I've
batch.
made it up, put it in quart jars, and give it to friends of mine.
Is there a sweet element in that one at all? Do you put any sweetener in?
Worcestershire. I knew I skipped over one.
Yeah. In the
Sweet?
it's a little,
yeah.
but there's no honey or sugar or anything in that
no
one.
honey or sugar in this one.
So the honey gold, of course, it has a sweetness to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And you put the hot honey in it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a unique one. If you like more of a traditional wing flavor, try that one. Now go back and talk about ratios of seasonings in there. Are you putting a teaspoon of these things, like cumin and stuff, or you just eyeballing shakes?
We're probably half a teaspoon on most of those things. You just want those notes. You don't, because if you put, you start putting tablespoons of this in there, it's gonna get muddy. Yeah, it's gonna be. It's not gonna be good.
And I guess it depends on if you scale it down.
Yeah,
but you could make the big batch.
Yeah.
Use what you're going to use because you're never really contaminating the wings. You're just ladling out some to toss.
Yeah. You just
and then put a lid on it, put it in a quart jar or whatever, and it'll stay in the fridge for a month probably.
Yeah, when you get done with it, even after you've heated it, you can put it back in the jar and let it cool off, and then put it in the jar, put it in the refrigerator. Yeah. It'll keep for a little while.
Or give it to your buddy, right?
Yeah. But you want to make sure you're cooking that one or keeping that one warm for quite a while because it does have herbs in it, dried herbs.
Yeah.
So you don't want somebody getting a mouthful of dried herbs. So
so that's
one reason So you taking about an hour and a half cook time on that one, just letting it.
That's unique. So you're getting the smokiness from the cumin. You're getting kind of that poultry seasoning flavor from some of the rosemary and the celery, and then you're getting that pop of heat to go with the hot sauce.
Yeah.
From the cayenne. If you want it hot, get it hot, huh?
It gives it a lot of depth.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. That was a dang good wing. Really good. Appreciate you sharing those with us today.
The Memphis in May might be in trouble.
Yeah, man, it hit the news big time.
So what's going on? Memphis in May's the international barbecue contest.
For those that hadn't been in the loop with what's happening in Memphis in May, last year they moved Memphis in May because of renovations being made to Tomley Park. That's been the Memphis in May headquarters or site location.
Because normally it's right there on the river.
Foot of Bill Street, Tomley Park, banks of the river. It's what makes the contest the contest.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. There's nothing like all the 300 teams down there, smoke in the air in between the bridges, and it just changes the whole downtown scape.
It's a pain to get in and it's a pain to get out.
But when you're there, it's so worth it.
Yeah.
and so last year they had to move it because the city or someone come into the city of Memphis and had the bright idea that they needed to renovate it, make the downtown park more like other cities. And what they didn't realize it would do, well, they said, oh, this isn't going to change anything for the Barbecue Fest or the Bill Street Music Festival. It's going to be the same. It's just going to take us a little time, and we're going to make it better. Well, then after that, of course, the landscape's going to be a little different. We can't get as many teams in. We're going to have to lessen the number of teams. and then it just keeps on and on and on going. Well, to where the latest is now they're going to require such a large damage deposit that they actually asked the organizers of Memphis in May for like a $1.25 million insurance deposit in case, to get the park back in the shape it is before the festivals.
And I kind of understand they're spending.
I get it's going to take a lot of money,
millions of dollars to renovate this park.
Yes,
and as soon as they get it renovated, we're going to have a big music festival and then a barbecue festival, and it's going to trash it. I understand that, but asking a barbecue team to put up $9,000,
$7,800. That was $7,800. So what it did, it eliminated the teams from where we were getting close to 300 in there, down to like 150, 160 teams. So all it could hold.
Drop by half.
So. Not almost
half.
Totally eliminated the patio porkers division, which is where we started. Probably the most fun.
It is the most fun
category to be in. It's where you're not professional. You're there to have a good time, learn about barbecue. You're cooking and competing, but it's where people get hooked on barbecue, and it's why they come to town. And the best parties are going on down there in the patio porkers. Totally gone. So now they're putting it on what teams are going to let in to pay this whole damage deposit. It sounded. Now Memphis in May is like, no, we got to renegotiate this because it's not possible, because you can't say that you expect barbecue teams to come up with $7,800 as a deposit. Now, granted, we have to get these applications in, end of the year.
Yeah.
The contest isn't until May. What are you supposed to do with $8,000 of my dollars
for 6 months?
To hold it for 6 months?
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. That's absurd.
That's not a deposit. That's a loan.
Yeah, it is. I mean, somebody's making interest off that million, whatever that is. But I mean, and I really don't get it because, and I don't know all the facts. I didn't go to the meetings. This is just hearsay. What I'm seeing on Facebook, what we're seeing in local news. They're turning it into a political. It's getting really political in Memphis about it. But the losers are all the fans of barbecue, the teams of barbecue, the vendors of barbecue. Everybody in general.
I know last year they had it at Tiger Lane.
Yeah, they claimed they lost, I don't know how many millions of dollars, like the worst revenue loss ever for having it there, because people, there's nothing to do around there for them. So one, you didn't have the tourists that came to the event, and two, they didn't go downtown and spend the money.
And I didn't enjoy it nearly as much.
Oh, it's not near the same. Now, from a logistics and a convenience standpoint, moving the contest was better. But from the actual experience of the barbecue fest, once you're there and the event and all that, you're not going to beat having it at Tom Lee Park. Yeah. It just didn't seem the same.
Well, a few years ago, the Royal kind of went through something where they didn't have a home anymore.
Yeah,
American Royal.
They have, yep. And they've moved locations 3 times now, right?
A couple, yeah.
Yeah. From the original to the track to wherever it is now.
So do you think Memphis in May will happen this year?
You know what? I don't know. Because for one, it's come out so early, it's going to make a lot of teams upset, and just no matter what the deposit ends up being. It was $350,
which is understandable.
Which is understandable. Yeah, it's partially refundable.
Yeah.
When we're on some side in May, we realize that that's part of. There's going to be some damage done to where they're going to have to redo some grass or something like that. That's about the biggest thing they would have to do. And so we paid $350. Partially, some of it's deposited if you don't do anything else damage. Now, when you're having parties, and I understand things might happen, that's why you have that. But we also get insurance taken. We also have to pay for an insurance policy for, being down there too. So that's part of it. And the prices just keep going up.
I know.
Now it's just getting ridiculous where they won't have the average team. I know we couldn't afford to put up $7,800 just to hold for us a chance to get that back, plus everything else that goes to it. You're talking about, that's your $7,800 is a budget for a big team. It's not even a small team budget, Most people,
deposit, yeah.
That's crazy. So I don't know. Going back to where they have it, they're probably going to do something, but I don't know if it's going to ever be the same. We'll have to. I don't even know if they're going to be. So one thing, they say they're 50% through with the park right now, and they say they're going to be done. Who knows? You don't know what's coming this winter. As far as I know, it looks like
It might
the
not
Farmer's Almanac saying it's going to be a rough winter. They're going to be able to get all that finished. I don't know. The part my point is the part may not even be complete in May, so it may not be possible
to even have it
there.
Yeah.
So,
they lost so much money on it, moving it.
So this is just speculation, total rumor, everything. I heard last year there was so much talk at Memphis in May that they're going to go back to Tom Lee Park for 1 year just to prove that it won't work, and then they're going to have to move it. So if that's going to happen,
location permanently.
But I mean, looking at this, I mean, I know Memphis in May's upset. The city of Memphis has to be upset for revenue, but I mean, I don't know who the mayor's behind. I don't live in Memphis, so I don't really know, all the political, who's who and all that. But I know they've got this organization that's in charge of this parks thing. That's who the people are mad at right now. But it seems like they put all this information out to create this buzz about it, and it turned a barbecue contest that's probably arguably one of the best in the world into a fiasco. I mean, I'm not saying it's a joke or anything, 'cause it's not a joke. This is serious to me. I mean, this is what, we love Memphis in May, and a lot of my friends, we think about it all year long. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. But they lost so much money moving it. I don't even know if they would do it if they moved it.
I mean, I understand they want it to be a moneymaker. To me, it's more than a moneymaker thing. It's a community thing, and it brings attention to the city of Memphis. How do you put a price on that, whether it costs money or not? I mean, is it for profit? I mean, maybe it is. Maybe they're running it for profit.
Yeah.
They need to find out a way to not run it for profit. I mean, barbecue contests. I mean,
you say that like
barbecue contests aren't really a profitable.
No, they're
not really when you sit back and look at it, it's not a profitable venture. I mean, you hope that if you got a cause, you can raise a little money for it. Yeah. But the grand goal ought to be to break even, not to lose money. But
I did read that it said that not only the city of Memphis lost money because of it, but also the organization. So I'm assuming that.
Yeah. And that's why, and that's another one.
They know that they can't have it off site and make money.
Yeah,
and if they can't have it on site, at the park.
Well, my thing is,
they're going to do it at all.
You got the music fest, right?
Yeah.
Why don't they increase those ticket prices and do something there to make the
yeah?
I mean, it seems to me like they're putting it all on the backs of the barbecue people. That's how it was pitched. I mean, that's my problem with it. I mean, we're not the only ones that's going to be at the events. I mean, you got to make it up all kinds of ways. There's a way to do that without just saying, I don't know, maybe I'm conspiracy minded. Maybe they put that out there to run the teams down. So they'll get their 150 and nobody will argue. I don't know. That's above my pay grade. I'm just a guy that likes to cook barbecue.
So we're just going to keep our eye on it. Hope that they figure it out. Hope that they get it done. But
we hope there's a contest. And I mean, if it's not astronomical, we'll be there. If it's not, we'll crank up Malcom in May. We did it during COVID. It's just a month of videos, and whoever knows what else we could do.
So this week you did a barbecue chicken pizza.
I did an easy barbecue chicken pizza. I was thinking football food minded. What's something fast on game day, doesn't require making dough? If you want to make your own pizza dough and get into all that, go right ahead. There's plenty of good pre-balled options out there. I've used a bunch of them. I started using these because I like the flavor of the crust, and it seems to rise up a little bit.
It's really
good.
Gives
the texture of it's really good. So all it is Pillsbury, like a can of biscuits. They make a pizza dough, or like crescent rolls. Comes in a can. You peel that label back a little bit, whop it real good, pops open. I think that's one of my favorite parts about it. You pop it open.
Did you see in the video where you went, woo?
Yeah, I always do. It's a little exciting. But then all you do is lightly spray a little baking sheet, spread it out in it, and you can kind of use your fingers and press it out. And I just kind of like keep going until I make a little lip almost on it. The dough stays out. It doesn't draw back too much. It's perfect for a pizza.
So what size sheet pan are you putting them in? Because you don't do like the full size sheet pan.
No. If you did, you could add 2 crusts and do a bigger one.
Yeah.
I would say is that considered a quarter sheet pan? Probably. It's probably a 9.5 by 11 size, like casserole dish or something. That's
good, yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of people do them, like make it a deep dish pizza. They'll put it in there and press it up on the sides and kind of make a taller crust.
For
it's more like casserole. Yeah, it's more like a casserole style pizza. But I wanted it to be where it's kind of flat and spread out. It makes it thinner, and it gets crispier cooked on that sheet pan like that.
It's not a thin dough.
No, it's not thin, but it's not
a
thick
deep
either.
dish.
Yeah. But it has like a butteriness. I think it's really good tasting crust.
I do. I think so too.
Yeah. But I did barbecued chicken pizza. And so for this one, I seasoned up some chicken thighs, boneless, skinless thighs. Now you could have smoked the whole chicken and pulled it. You could cheat even further by buying a rotisserie chicken.
Don't
use canned chicken. But I used the
best flavors, the char grilled chicken thighs.
Char grilled chicken thighs. So I fired up the Weber, kind of 2-zone, seasoned them up with some rub, threw them on there. I didn't like marinate them or anything special. This is chicken thighs right out of the package. I even left a lot of the fat on them because I like that fat. It renders down, gives it some good flavor. And then those things cooked in, Tyler, what was it, 5-7 minutes? It's super fast.
Yeah, really, really fast.
I mean, as fast as you get them all on there, you go about a minute or two, you turn them. These are the same kind of way I would do chicken thighs back in the day for ancillary contests. I mean, we call it burn-ass chicken because you're just charring chicken thighs. That's all you're doing, boneless, skinless thighs. So once you get them all on there and go 1 or 2 minutes, they get a char on one side, you flip them another 1 or 2 minutes and flip them back. You don't walk away from these because they're cooking fast. And the reason why I kind of do that 2-zone is in case something gets ahead of me, I can move it over and I got that cool spot. So, and you could cook the chicken for this a day in advance. You could cook a big batch of chicken and use it for other dishes too. You can make multiple pizzas with it because I want to say it was like a little small pack, about 6
or 8,
boneless, skinless thighs. I did them all and we ate them, like make tacos and stuff with them. But I probably used, for the pizza, it was probably half, I would say.
Yeah.
So about 3.
So that's enough chicken to do
2 pizzas easy.
2 pizzas,
yeah. You could probably get 3 out of it, depending on how. I like mine a little heavy on the meat. So I did that. So once you get your chicken cooked, let it cool a little bit, slice it up into thin strips. It's super easy to do. And it's just like kind of fajita size, I would say, strips.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can make a chicken taco or something with it, a fajita. That's what I do because I like to have that bite of chicken thigh. So you can do it on any grill, this pizza recipe. I did it on a pellet grill, 425. I think that's exactly what it said on the can of dough, wasn't it? It said 425, 25, 35 minutes, something like that.
Yep.
So I spread my dough out. For the sauce, this is where the barbecue part starts coming in. I done used the barbecue rub on the chicken. I used my white barbecue sauce as the foundation. So I spread that out on the pizza crust. Now, you got to have cheese. So I would use some mozzarella cheese on bottom. That's kind of glues into the sauce. And then I started adding my toppings. I spread out strips of that grilled chicken thigh all over the top.
You go heavy.
I go heavy. I used red onion that I diced up, and I used sliced jalapenos, the pickled jalapenos out of a jar. Just drain them really good, get the moisture off of them, spread those on it. The only other thing you need is more cheese. So I used 2 kinds of cheese for the top. One was, it was Kraft Triple Blend Cheddar, which I guess it's just got some different flavored cheddars in it, but it's really good. So I sprinkled some of that on, and then I finished off the pack of mozzarella. So if I had to guess, in the recipe, I think, what did I say, 2 cups of mozzarella, 1 cup of triple blend. You can go as heavy as you want with the cheese. It ain't gonna hurt it.
Yeah, I always go heavier.
You could use the whole pack of shredded mozzarella. If you want to shred some mozzarella yourself, go for that. And then use, if you want to use the whole pack of triple blend, use the whole pack of triple blend. It'd be cheese lovers barbecue grilled chicken pizza at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes
on the recipe. You called for 1 cup of mozzarella and 1/2 cup of the triple.
Oh, you need to double
cheddar.
That. I was trying to keep the calories down. Why would I do that? I don't know. But I use the what's a regular 8-ounce pack says it's 2 cups, right? Of mozzarella.
Yeah.
And just the regular cheese pack shredded. That's what I used. Store brand Kroger mozzarella.
I mean, yeah. So what other toppings could you do?
You could put anything you wanted on it. If you wanted to keep the heat down, just use a little bell pepper or a little sweet pepper or peppercini.
Ooh, yeah.
Banana pepper rings if you wanted to do.
If you don't like onions.
Yeah, if you don't like onions, leave them off. Yeah. I mean, you could add spinach.
Olives,
We've added spinach to it. We've added olives to it. Added artichoke hearts to it. I've added a pretty good bit of stuff to chicken, just the meat part of it. If you want to do a combo meat, do chicken and pork. That would not be bad, I promise you. But the white sauce is the bottom sauce. That's the key. And then when you put your pizza on the grill, you do want indirect heat. You don't want to do it over direct heat. So if you got a grill where your coals are right below it, put you a pizza stone there or get you an offset side, to where you can cook twos on it. But you want the grill about 425. It works great on a egg or a ceramic grill.
It works in the oven.
Works in the oven. You don't even have to cook it. You cook this in the oven.
When we first started using these pizza crusts, it was over the summer, and we were making pizzas with Michael and just cooking them in the oven.
Yeah, everybody can cook their own little pizza. That's another good thing about it. If you're doing these for game day parties, you can have the pizza toppings, line them out on the counter, and give everybody a roll of these things in a sheet pan and let them have at it. Because it cooks pretty quick. I mean, I think it was right at 30 minutes total was about what it took at 425. You're just cooking it until you can tell first all the cheese is melted across the top. And then the crust around the edge will start pulling off the pan a little bit, and it'll get brown. That's all you're looking for. If you wanted to raise it up, you could, and look at the bottom, but it's going to be done after about that long. So at that point, I took it out, used a spatula, slid it all out of the pan on your cutting board, and drizzled the barbecue sauce. That's where you want to drizzle your regular red barbecue sauce over the top. Kind of do a little zigzag pattern or whatever you want to do, and then you're ready to cut it up. And it would serve 2.
Yeah,
I would think. I mean, if you had other stuff to go with it, maybe 3. But I'm thinking it's perfect personal sheet pan pizza. It's a personal sheet pan pizza is what it is. But you can't go wrong with it. It was absolutely delicious. We even brought some to work. Yeah.
I think the first time I brought those pizza crusts home, you kind of made fun of me.
Yeah.
And now you're making videos with them.
I know. Isn't that crazy? I mean, I've made dough before or bought dough that you spread out. And yeah, it's probably better, but this is like fast, easy. Anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Don't knock it till you try it because they're really good.
And I'm a big fan of using that white barbecue sauce as a pizza sauce. I mean, I like all kinds of pizza. Love them all. But the non-red sauce pizzas are, to me, the best.
Oh, yeah. You also kind of want to do your own take on a Mr. Beast burger now, right?
Yeah, we had – so one day they I don't know how they did it, but they had to do it in shifts because they gave everybody a Mr. Beast burger. And if you never had a Mr. Beast burger. So he started his own thing. It's like a satellite – it's not really satellite. What do they call it? Ghost kitchens?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's where other kitchens will open up and cook his recipe.
I think so.
It's
almost like a ghost franchise. Yeah. Because you have to cook it to their specs. And you probably ordered their packaging. And it's so it doesn't look like it's coming from, say, Windy City Grill here in Hernando. Yeah. But they're actually doing Mr. Beast. And when you go, that's who's cooking it and prepping it. And somebody's picking it up and bringing it to you.
Mm-hmm. And it's only available delivery most places.
I think so.
Correct?
Yeah. They did just open the first physical location in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
But
that whole model of the ghost kitchens is kind of interesting.
It's very interesting. Yeah. It's a way to do a franchise without
startup.
Yeah. You're not investing in. If you probably already got the equipment or something. So if you had a kitchen, you could go several restaurants.
Yeah.
And you're just one. You're the operations basically, and you're taking advantage of the brands. But it was good. I was hesitant. I was like, okay, I don't know how many thousand people were at this conference. But so you had to sign up, and they were only doing blocks of 250 at a time.
Yeah.
And they would do it every hour. So on the little app agenda, you had to sign up where you wanted your lunch in between sessions or something. So me and Tyler got the same one, and we were late to it because we had to get the third or fourth time. We didn't get lunch till 1:30 one day when they did it. So you went and in part of the lobby where this conference was, they formed a big, long line, and I stood in line for a burger, if you can believe that. Stood in line for a hamburger. It was like, you know me, I don't do lines.
Yeah.
It was 30 minutes. It was every bit of 30 minutes. And I was like, dude, I don't go to Disney World. I don't stand in line. I don't stand in line.
Yeah.
And Tyler's like, I'll stand in line for you. I said, no, I'm not going to be that guy. I said, I'm going to try the Mr. Beast burger, so I'm going to stand in line. So we did, and they give it to you, and it's like in this McDonald's Big Mac style box.
Yeah, I saw the picture.
And it's all logoed up, Mr. Beast, and I'm not going to lie. It was a dang good burger. I don't know which ghost kitchen cooked that one or how they did it, but
was it a beef burger?
Yeah.
Beef
burger. It was
double.
So it was more like a smash burger.
Okay.
Double stack, extra cheese, big thick pickle slices on it, mustard and ketchup. That was about it.
I think there was mayonnaise on it.
Was there mayo too?
Yeah, I think it was all three. The ketchup and then
but no lettuce, no tomato. I don't think it was just. Pickle was the only veg.
And the bun was pretty meaty too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was a thick, kind of like a brioche style bun. Mm-hmm. Held up. It was fresh. I was thinking, okay,
We're fixing
to get some food poisoning. That's what I was thinking. Because they got these burgers, and they're trying to get them out to all these people.
Yeah.
But they must have been using different ghost kitchens to do that and had them delivering different times. Because there's no way one little restaurant could have fed that conference like that. But they did run out. Like, not everybody got them. Some people had to settle for Subway towards the end. But they were still doing lunch at like 4:30. Was like one of the later windows.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. They ran out.
So was it fries and burgers or just the burger?
It was just a burger.
Chips.
You could get all the liquid death you wanted.
Yeah.
And then a table full of chips.
Yeah, that was the first time I tried liquid death. It was okay. It's like kind of tastes like it's one of those drinks that has like the flour aftertaste or whatever. That
it had
it was just water.
Well, I think they originally started out just canned water.
Yeah.
Cool branding. But now they're doing flavors.
Oh, okay.
So they had like berry flavor and like others had like hibiscus liquid death. I mean, it's great branding, you know. But
it got Michael. I remember the first time.
Oh
we
yeah,
saw
that's
it,
what Tyler said. You had this. I said no, but Michael had to have it. It's drinking liquid death. I mean,
speaking of some of the finer things in life, you used some Blue Plate mayo this week for a recipe.
Yeah, I did. So this, I mean, I know everybody knows it's a thing. Mayonnaise is a binder.
Yeah.
And
I've seen it going around a lot.
They did it, I guess. I don't know if Deuce brought it up. My buddy Deuce from
Deuce Raymond.
Yeah, Deuce Raymond. Because he did it on brisket on TikTok. So
I've been enjoying his TikTok recipe.
And I talked to Greg about it several weeks away on the Barbecue Central show. And I think he kind of brought it up. It came up somewhere, and then Deuce did it, or some vice versa. And then some other guy said that he was the first one to do it on social media. So I don't know who did it first. But
people been putting mayonnaise.
Hey man, mayonnaise chicken. That's been a long time. If you were sleeping on, I've never done a video on it, but man, that was the mayor of barbecue told me, man, we went to my first KCBS and they boiled it in mayonnaise. Is all they did. I mean, how many years ago was that? When we talk about boiling it in mayonnaise, that's been when I first started KCBS. So that's 20 years.
When you're talking about boiling it, you're talking about chicken thighs.
Yeah, chicken thighs. Boiling it in mayonnaise. They just covered it in mayonnaise and put it down in a muffin pan and boiled
it. And they won.
It gets it tender. Well, what I like about it, I used it on chicken wings for this recipe. You got to have Blue Plate because it's the best. You know, I got the squeezy one because I don't have to put it out in a bowl. I mean, I could just squeeze it right on the wing, use my grill brush it on smooth, and season it. And it does it. The Blue Plate works some magic on the grill. Chicken wings, this is a never fail, one of the better chicken wings you've ever ate, and I used mayonnaise on the skin of it. Would you have thought that?
I mean, yes, I could see that.
It's 400 degrees, pellet grill, Blue Plate mayonnaise on, dry the skin, Blue Plate on the skin, season it however you want.
What did
I wanted to do, so my thinking was, I want to flip the script. Instead of doing a buffalo wing and serving it with ranch sauce, I wanted to do a ranch wing that I dip in buffalo sauce. And so I come up with a Chipotle ranch wing with the little crust on it from a TX. So what I did is I took just the Hidden Valley Ranch that you can buy in the shaker, not the pack, because the pack's a little stronger. But the stuff they have, and it's usually on the salad dressing. Well, I think it's right there with the packs, honestly, on the shelf. But it comes in like a rub shaker. Clear, Hidden Valley Ranch label. It's made to shake on stuff.
And it does seem to be less potent.
Yeah.
Less ranchy.
It's got good ranch flavor, but it's not too salty and it's not too strong. Yeah. Well, you could use the packet, but you're going to have to add that to like a bunch of AP or something. You have to mellow it out because it's like intense. But so this one, I took half a cup of that, like put it in a little dread shaker, put a big heaping tablespoon of ground Chipotle pepper. So it gave me that heat. It gave me some smokiness of the smoked peppers, and it went with the ranch really well because I wanted a little heat element. But I knew after I tasted it, I said, I get the heat, I get the Chipotle coming through, I get the ranch for sure, but it doesn't have like texture. It doesn't have a really salty element. And I didn't want it too salty, but I was like, you know what I can do? I can put my mayo down, and it's going to make that ranch Chipotle stick to the wing. And then I can hit them with something coarse. And I was like, all I need is salt and pepper. So I said TX. And it just, as that mayonnaise heated up on the wings at 400 degrees on the grill, it browns that wing all over. You get that crust texture from the TX, but you still get the tangy ranch and a little bit of the heat and smoky flavor.
It was a dang good wing.
It was excellent.
It was like contender for like top 5 of this year.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? It was just.
It was super simple.
And that was a complete experiment too.
Well,
and then.
Go ahead.
For the dipping sauce, I wanted to go buffalo sauce, but I was like, what can I make that's easy and so I said, well, I saw Frank's buffalo wing sauce. You could use your favorite one. And just that by itself, I didn't think would be really good in a bowl.
It's strong to dip.
So I was like, let's make creamy buffalo ranch sauce. And that's what I did. So I took a bottle of just regular old classic ranch dressing. I think it was Kraft. Frank's buffalo sauce, 50-50, and mixed them up. Man, if that wasn't some good dipping sauce, I don't know what was.
It went really good with those.
I'm sure you could make if I made a homemade ranch with blue plate and had the ranch packet and let that sit for a few hours, and then took the hot sauce and butter and a little garlic, made my own little wing sauce and combined those, it's going to be even better.
Yeah. So this week you did your smoker-fried turkey.
That one was an experiment gone 100% right. It was so good. I'm glad that I tried that. And I've seen other people do them.
Yeah, you didn't create this.
No. There's been a bunch of people do this. But man, they don't look good. Have you noticed? Like some of them, they're all burnt up. They're black looking. I'll tell you what they've done. They put too much seasoning on it to begin with. But that turkey was a golden, like you talk about a look. God, it was pretty.
It was.
And it had a crispy, light. The skin got extra crispy all the way around it and had a crackle. I mean, it was like you wanted to eat that turkey skin. Even after I sliced it, you were still, man, this is good turkey skin. And then the flavors were, well, I brined it for one, really so it was juicy turkey. I tell you what, I probably could have done was injected it too to make it even better. But then I just went like light cooking spray on the outside. I let it air dry. That's a trick too. You got to do that to your turkeys. Even when that's another thing we could put on that turkey tips was when it comes out of the brine, you've got to give it a couple hours in the refrigerator to air dry.
That's a good idea.
Then you're ready to work on it. So it's like out of freezer, in the brine, out of brine and refrigerate, then cook. That's the steps. But what that does is it helps your skin get even crispier. It does it with wings. It does it with any kind of chicken. To let it sit out and get a paper towel and get all the moisture off, and then the air in the refrigerator, I guess there's always some air moving, and it just helps it dry.
Why does that make it crispy? Do you know?
I guess it just gets the moisture off of it because the more moisture you get off of it, the better chance it is for that skin to kind of fry and sizzle a little as it cooks.
I guess.
And so that's what
the water's a barrier, maybe.
And it's just more. It's just It's not going to let it's hold moisture in it, so it can't get crispy. But when you put heat on that, it's got to steam it off first, and that's kind of keeping it soggy or chewy. But when you take the moisture off of it and you get it completely dry, then you put another layer of fat on it, like I do with a cooking spray or rubbing it down with oil. It'll kind of help it fry and get crispy. And you can achieve that somewhat on a pellet grill. Now, it's harder to do on more traditional smokers just because the heat isn't moving as much air. But pellet grills are great about moving air through there because they got that fan system pushing the heat off the little pellet pots in them, and they're great about it.
What about I'm just curious. What about like an old hickory that has the convection system?
It does pretty good on the skin too.
But it's the same concept. That's what it makes it good.
It does. It is because of the convection air in it.
Okay.
Same thing. It gets that effect. If you do it on a drum or any other kind of pit or egg or something like that, that skin's harder to get crispy because all you're doing is hammer it with heat. It doesn't really have the airflow. So if you had a way to put convection on one of those pits, it would move a lot more air and it would blend it and probably dry it out more and let it get crispy. That's kind of a downfall on some of those pits. They'll dry stuff out. But in this case, you want it to dry out the outside so that air helps. So I lightly hit it with like Pam cooking spray. You could use whatever you want. You can use duck fat. If you got a favorite cooking spray, if you wanted to use oil, use that. Hit it with salt, pepper, and garlic, which was the AP. That would have been really good too with just that salt, granulated garlic, and poultry herbs because it's not going to burn up either, and it's not going to mess your oil up.
Yeah.
The reason why I didn't do like barbecue seasoning or Cajun seasoning or any other seasoning on the bird that had different things in it because I knew I was going to deep fry this. And I didn't want to transfer those seasonings off into the oil, let them burn, and then mess my oil up.
Yeah.
And I can't use it for anything but frying a few turkeys. At this point, I can still use this oil if I wanted to fry pork rinds in it, if I wanted to, cook chicken wings, whatever. It's still good oil for that.
And it helped the bird look really pretty.
It helped the bird look really pretty. So I put it on the pit at 275. I smoked it with some pecan wood, some flavor. I put my ThermalWorks dot alarm in like the thickest part of the breast and watched it until it was like 150-ish degrees. I think it got to like 153 by the time I got it off. So that left me a little over 10 degrees to get the done in the breast. You want it at 165. Now, if I'm smoking one and I'm pacing that cook out, I'm going to stop it at 160 and let it carry over to 165. But at this point, I knew that when I drop it in this 350-degree oil, it's going to be rocking the skin on the outside. It's going to be cooking it fast on the inside. It's not going to take long. And so is it overkill to smoke and to get all this oil hot for one turkey? Maybe so if you're just doing one. But the great thing about it is you can use that oil over and over if you don't put too much seasoning on that bird.
I don't think it's overkill for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, for Thanksgiving it's not, right? You want something special anyway.
Yeah.
So once that bird hit 153, I took it out of the smoker and had to put my little turkey hanging rod in there that you lifted in and out of the grease with. So I just ran it through the neck, and because I wanted to drop it down breast first. That's the biggest part. I want that down in the oil. I know that's the densest meat. And the legs, if they're sticking up a little bit, that's okay because that meat's already drawn back anyway.
Yeah.
And you always want to make sure that you're following the directions on your turkey frying pot. I'm not an expert at that. Have a fire extinguisher handy. Make sure you don't have the appropriate amount of oil in there. When you're lowering it down, it don't bubble out. I saw some people recommend shut the flame off when you drop it in. That's probably a great idea. I didn't do that. It's probably a great idea. Wear you some safety Crocs. Hopefully grease won't go down in them.
How's your pinky toe?
Oh, he's great. Yeah, he's still wiggling. I did feel a little heat on it, but it wasn't hot. Like, it didn't hurt me or anything. I just thought that was fun. It'll get your attention. I will say that. But so what I did is I let the moisture drain out of that turkey because it's always going to have some moisture in that cavity. Once I turned it up right on the hanger and set it on the board, and then I slowly lowered it down into the peanut oil.
You let it set for like...
You don't want... Yeah, just a few minutes. It lost a degree.
5 minutes maybe?
Yeah. We were just waiting on the oil to get exactly 350. That's where I wanted it. I used peanut oil.
I think that 5-minute rest was good to let that moisture drain.
I think so too, because a lot of it came out. A lot of moisture was in that cavity. A lot of it came out. I didn't want that in my oil. That's what can cause you, when you mix water or moisture with, like, all of a sudden with hot grease, it could come up and out. Now, that moisture is eventually going to come out of that turkey anyway, but in that oil, but you want to do it slowly because it ain't such a change on it. But I think that was the big thing, just letting it drain some. And even though it drops a few degrees, if it dropped 4 or 5 degrees, I didn't care. I probably could have waited and cooked it 30 minutes later, but I think it worked good because I really didn't know how long it was going to take to get the turkey done on the inside and get the skin perfect on the outside. And this was a one-shot deal. I didn't I had a backup plan. If it worked, it worked. If it didn't, I guess we were just going to show how I messed up on that video. But I'm telling you, I lowered it down in there, and I left my temp probe in it. And at first, I was like, is this going to work? I didn't know if that was going to work or not. But I was thinking that probe goes up to, I want to say
500.
500.
Yeah.
And I said, my oil's 350. There's no way. And I put this off in a pit a lot of times or on a grill. When that grill, I'll put it in a steak and the grill's 500 degrees. I said, this oil is not going to hurt this probe. So I left it in.
And
that helped me. It watched it. And at first I dropped it in. Once I got the turkey down in there, it went back a couple more degrees. And I was like, dang, what's going on here?
And then it just stalled.
And then it stalled for 4 minutes. Didn't do anything. I said, well, this ain't, I don't know if it's working or not. And then all of a sudden it started going tick, 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 tick. And it stopped about 163. This was all in like another minute. So we were like 5 minutes and I was 163. Another minute, it was like 54. And then boom, 65, get it out. And it was easy. And then when I didn't know what it was going to look like, honestly. I was like, we put the lid on it. It was frying away. I was nursing my pinky toe. So I got the hook, started pulling it out. And when I saw how golden and brown it was, I was like, jackpot. This is going to be good right here. And so I kind of let it drain a little bit. And then I took it over to the cutting board and laid it on its back. And I showed everybody the back. I was like, look how good. And I didn't even season. I didn't do nothing to the back of that turkey. But I kind of spun it around where you could see it on the hanger. And the back was crispy. The breast and everything looked good. The wings held on. The legs looked good. I mean, it was a beautiful turkey.
It was.
And so I laid it on its back again on some butcher paper because I knew it'd kind of drain a little. Got the hook out of it. And then it wasn't there.
You
I don't know.
seasoned it.
Yeah, as soon as it came out of the grease. Now, that's what you got to do. This is where you can season it. And you could take it whatever flavor you wanted. If you wanted to go
King
barbecue
crawl
bird.
perfect.
If you want, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
I think you could go, man, you could have made up a buffalo sauce and drizzled over it.
Ooh, yeah.
You could have you could have had a barbecue sauce like seasoning and then salsa, drizzle a little salsa. White sauce would have been great over it. You could do all kinds of stuff. I just did Cajun because I like Cajun turkey. So I just sprinkled it with king crawl. And it did. And that's when I think I mentioned it in the video. I said, Popeyes ain't got nothing on me. And that's what it reminded me of, that Cajun sparkle they'd give you to sprinkle on their fried chicken at Popeyes. And I was like, this is dynamite. It is so good. And then when I cut into it and it was still juicy and the breast came off and I just sliced them and they were slicing perfect. And it was
like the best of both worlds.
It was. A smoked and fried turkey is something that everybody needs to try because it's a little bit of work. I mean, I wouldn't say it's hard, but you got to plan it. You got to know you're going to brine it. You got to get your smoker going.
You got to have
and then
the
you got to get your frying rig ready. And so it's a thing, but man, I'm going to be doing that to chickens and wings and
ooh, yeah.
all kinds of stuff.
I want
So
to do
good.
this. I want you to do it for chicken, then season it when it comes out with the buffalo, like
dry buffalo like
dry.
wing dust, like Cosmo's wing dust.
Yeah, let's serve it with some ranch.
That'd be really good. It'd be good. So I'm thinking, what do you think the breast would be like? The boneless, the whole big giant breast.
If you'd have to leave the skin on it.
So I used to buy these Butterball, and this is when I would be cheating for something. There would be, Butterball had these deep fried turkey breasts that you could buy at Sam's. And they come in a cryovac, and I guess they had been cooked, deep fried. They weren't really seasoned or anything. And then I would warm them up on the pit, almost like you do spiral hams. It's a fully cooked ham. It's fully cooked turkey breast. It's ready to like open and slice and make sandwiches. But I said, what if we warm this breast up? Deep fried turkey breast, put some rub on it, warm it up, and then get kind of crispy again. And put some butter in there. Yeah. And people thought I was like the turkey breast king. I was like, man, I'm just buying them already cooked. And this is nothing to it, nothing to it. It's easy. I had my family fooled because you couldn't find big, giant turkey breast. And then Kevin started selling these all natural, farm raised, Texas sized, turkey breasts. And that's when I got those. I was like, ooh, this is a different ball game. But what if I smoked and deep fried one of those? I bet you it would be good too.
Well, skin on or skin off?
Either way, because it's going to get, how it get, like when I pull the skin off and it gets a little crispy on the grill, you would just drop it and flash fry it to get that crispiness even more on the outside. I don't know. I was just thinking if that was.
I'm going to try. I'm willing to try it.
I just got into turkey experiment. I'm just, you gotta try something different every year.
You're into it.
Yeah. So, Shell, I see we've got Chef Matt, Mr. Make It Happen, in the virtual green room. We're going to bring him on, and we're going to see what he's up to over, I think he's in Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
Matt, welcome to How to Barbecue Right podcast, man. How's it going?
Great, man. Excited to be here. Been a big fan of yours for a very long time, so happy to sit down and chat with you for a little bit.
Yeah, man. I was excited when Tyler mentioned that you were going to come on and chat with us. I know you're buddies with our mutual acquaintance, Mr. AB. And he does a lot of good things, and he speaks awful highly of you, man.
I appreciate it. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, he's a good. We actually reached out to me via Instagram, probably, man, it might be 2 years now. So I've been, we've been doing some collaborations on YouTube. We've got the cookbook together. So over the years, we've become pretty tight. So AB's a good guy.
Yeah, I got to get me a copy of that cookbook.
Yeah, y'all got a cookbook?
He told me about it when we were out in California last month, and I was like, man, I got to get a copy of that. Where can I get one?
Well, I'll have to send you one.
Yeah. I'd love to have it, man. I know he's got some great recipes, and I'm sure you got some great ones in there too. That's an awesome collab.
Yeah, man. It's a painful process. I'm surprised you don't have one out there as of yet, but it's definitely it's a lot of work, but it's been worth it. We had a couple of hiccups right in the middle of COVID with paper shortages and labor shortages and all that good stuff. So we did it at the perfect time.
How long did it take y'all to compile the cookbook?
So luckily, in our business, we're, capturing the recipes and taking pictures for thumbnails and stuff like that. So we had quite a bit of stuff that was, usable when it came time to do the cookbook. So that kind of shortened it a bit, but I would say a good 7 to 8 months maybe. Plus, he lives in California, I live in Virginia, so just the logistics of coordinating all of that was slowing it down a bit as well. So I'd say between 6 and 9 months if you put it all together and focus on it, you probably knock it out. Probably shorter than that if you're not working with somebody else.
It is a big commitment. We've looked at doing one before.
We've been working on one for 10 years.
Haven't gotten very far.
It's worth it. I'm sure you would do well with it.
Well, I got a question. So where did the name come from, Mr. Make It Happen?
That's a good question. It's actually not food related at all. So it's funny. So this was a long time ago. A friend of mine was having a bachelor party, and his best man, so to speak, typically best men are tasked with putting everything, the logistics together for the bachelor party. So like the day before we're supposed to fly to Miami, everything kind of fell apart. And I made a couple phone calls, and I basically kind of came in and orchestrated everything and put it together. So I was giving him a hard time the whole trip there, telling him, don't address me as Mr. Make It Happen, because I came in and kind of fixed everything. And, it kind of stuck after that weekend, and then I needed an Instagram name. So there it was, and the rest is history. It actually kind of...
I love it. I love that, yeah.
You're the wolf.
I just stuck with it, yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking. We call it the Winston Wolf, whatever, from Pulp Fiction. You got to have a Mr. Make It Happen type.
It's important.
That's the guy that gets it done, no matter what the circumstances.
No questions asked.
No questions asked. You go with it.
There we go. And then,
but it falls
still
right.
applies to food, so I kept stuck with it.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. It goes right with, recipes and cooking videos and all that.
Right.
Because there's a lot of times when you just got to make it happen.
Got to make it happen, yeah.
When I was switching over, so I was starting to post food content, I tried to start a separate Instagram, and I had such a better following on my personal that I ended up just killing the food Instagram and kind of merging everything together, and Mr. Make It Happen was the Instagram name, so I just stuck with it.
So are you a chef by trade, or is it something that you just have a passion for? You got into food, or how did that come about?
I didn't go to culinary school. It's just something I've been doing since forever, since probably turned 18. When I moved out, I kind of had the hangout spot at my apartment when we were young, and I used to cook, and people would tell you that it tastes good, and once people give you a few compliments, you're like, oh, maybe I should, investigate this a little further. And just stuck with it. My dad was really into cooking, and when he passed away, I kind of found myself, getting more interested in the things that he was interested in. He was into hunting and cooking and, a lot of stuff on the grill. And, I just kind of found myself getting interested in some of the things that he was interested in. And then I just got obsessed with cooking from there. So the rest is history.
Yeah, I think, having a background like that, it shows that you do have a passion for it. It's just not something you're, went to school and learned.
It's something you had to do in your spare time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You had to take the initiative to care about it, to want to put the effort in, and that's what cooking is to me. I'm the same way. I'm not professionally trained at all. I worked in a few, kitchens back in the day, but that was just out of needing beer money.
Right.
The passion didn't come. I didn't realize it, but I was, crazy about cooking the same kind of way.
It took me forever to start posting stuff. Like, I just kind of did it as a hobby, and anytime people would come over, I'd use it as an opportunity to let them try stuff that I was working on. And then friends were like, hey man, you need to post this on the internet. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So it just took me forever, man. I saw a Facebook memory the other day. How they show you stuff that you posted a long time ago. It was like 5 or 6 years ago, talking about I'm about to start a YouTube channel, and I didn't start it until a little over 2 years ago. So I could have had 4 more years in the game.
Yeah, you've grown a lot in 2 years.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
The growth that you've had on your channel and the support. That
says something about your recipes.
The pandemic I started it at the best time ever to start a food YouTube channel, probably, right? January, right before the pandemic, was when we started. So I'll take some of the credit, but I think that definitely helped.
So which of your YouTube recipes is your most popular? The one that you probably had the most views on? The one people comment on the most?
I think it's a seafood boil bag. So, those are historically very popular right now. I think I read an article talking about the crab leg shortage. So I think we've eaten all the crabs in the ocean. But the seafood boil bag is my most popular. And then right behind that, I think is like a simple like fried cabbage recipe. My first video that actually kind of took off was like a bang bang shrimp copycat recipe. So I don't know if you guys have bonefish in Memphis, but we did bang bang shrimp. One of the first videos we posted, and it kind of immediately started getting some traction. I was like, oh man, this YouTube thing is going to be a breeze.
In your bang bang sauce, what kind of mayo are you using?
I'm a Duke's guy.
That's okay.
You are Virginia. Yeah.
We're a blue plate house down here. That's what Shell will say. So,
nice.
But I knew it had to have some in there.
Dukes is the gospel here. Dukes and Old Bay go on just about everything else.
Yeah. So we've got the Cajun two-step and blue plate.
I like it.
No, but no, I love bang bang shrimp. That's one of my, you got to get that appetizer anytime you go to a restaurant that have it, and you see it called all different kinds of stuff. I think Bonefish must have started the bang bang part, but
I think so.
It's boom boom, and I've seen all kinds of different things. But dynamite shrimp, yeah.
Do you fry yours?
I just started out making stuff that I liked. Yeah, I fry mine in a cornstarch. Is kind of how I bread it, make sure it holds up to that thick sauce, and it's delicious. I like I said, I started out just making stuff that, one, I felt like I could make really well, and two, stuff that I like, before I realized that YouTube's more about what the people want to see instead of what you want to make. So I had to learn that over the years too.
Do you have a recipe that you think is like just a fire recipe, but you never got the views, or it never got the, play that you thought it should
have? Almost every time I'm like, this is the one, it never happens.
Yeah.
It's always the video that I almost didn't post. So I got a prime rib video I did. I hate that video. And it's got probably, it's getting close to 1 million, probably around 600, 700,000. So maybe this holiday season, it'll get up there around 1 million, but I almost didn't post that video, though. I just didn't like the way it came out. I didn't like the way it looked. I liked the recipe. It just didn't sometimes it doesn't translate the way you see it in your head versus the way it looks on the video. It's like, that's kind of ugly, but people like it.
So how did you get comfortable filming what you were cooking in the kitchen? That's always something that I find that it's one of the biggest challenge. I mean, there's a lot of great cooks, and a lot of people cook great at home, but to be able to translate, to capture that, to get it edited, and to get it out there that you're willing to share, that's a big step, man. So how did you kind of come a part of that?
And have people receive it, and want to watch it.
And that's one of the things when people come up and asking me for advice, which still feels kind of crazy to me, but that's what I tell them is like, mostly it's consistency, right? So anybody that the first time you're doing something, you're not going to be that great at it. So my early videos, to me, the quality is not great. The lighting's, it looks like we're cooking in the dark. Like the lighting's not good. The audio's not good. But you just got to be willing to keep showing up and keep trying and until you get it right and get comfortable. So there's really no shortcut to it unless you're just naturally gifted or really good at talking or whatever the case may be. But for most of us, the rest of us, you just got to keep grinding and keep working at it. I started out doing just voiceovers. I didn't start, kind of speaking into the camera in my videos until here recently. And I think that's kind of started to give me another little boost in how well my channels perform. And when I made that change, I started to notice a little bit more growth coming along. So just getting comfortable, man. The voiceovers were a pain, and then I figured out, how to do that. And now I'm trying to, get myself a little more comfortable talking into the camera now too.
I think it's ever evolving. You're always learning,
Oh, yeah.
What you could do better.
We had this conversation yesterday. I said the only way to make good videos is to make a bunch of bad ones first.
It really is.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You can't, and I think, I subscribe to the idea that there's not bad ones. It's showcasing your journey along the way and what you're learning. So you put something out there. It may not do as well as you think it should, but you're going to have those OG fans that watch it, and they want to go through that with you. Like we call it the Yellow Kitchen days. That's like back when we started over 10 years ago. We didn't know along the same way you did. It's like we just put stuff out there and didn't stop.
I can't stand to watch them now.
We didn't look, we didn't. But I mean, I don't want to say we didn't pay
attention to the comments. I mean, we saw what people were posting, and the majority of them were positive. But then you're always going to get those negative ones, and those are the ones that are, that kind of weigh on you, and you just kind of take those as a grain of salt and keep on doing what you're doing, like you said.
Yeah, that's definitely part of. That's another thing that I try to tell people is you gotta, some people are the type of people that are going to leave those comments on the YouTube channels and whatever, Instagram or wherever it might be. You just got to kind of keep pushing and focus on the folks that are giving you the positive feedback. Because, some people, if they're just starting out, those things can be real discouraging. I think that the people that are leaving the negative comments don't really take that into account. And you got somebody that's, chasing their dreams and trying to figure this thing out, and you're going to come shoot them down. And some people take that to heart and quit, or, don't take to it as much as
let
they
it stop
would.
them.
Right? So it's important to kind of have thick skin in the YouTube business.
That's what I was going to say. You have to.
Yeah.
You can't let that bother you at all, or you'll never accomplish anything.
Right.
That's not on YouTube. That's life. It's just easy for somebody to throw that shade on you in YouTube. It's easy to be a keyboard cowboy.
Exactly.
So I've seen you cooking on a Big Green Egg on your channel. Would you say that's your go-to favorite grill?
I love the Big Green Egg. So when I first got into cooking, I was in love with barbecue. And that's actually kind of how I came across your channel probably 10 years ago. Long before I ever thought I'd be on YouTube. But barbecue was my passion before I kind of got into cooking all the way, I would say. But yeah, the Big Green Egg is my favorite. I probably use the Traeger a little more often just because it's so easy. It's kind of cheating a little bit, but I'm a purist a little bit. I would rather use a stick burner, but it just takes so long. And it's, when it's time to have some people over, unless you don't really have much planned for the day, you kind of opt for the easier stuff. So, but yeah, the Big Green Egg is definitely my favorite grill.
I like mixing it up like that too, like you're doing, because it just showcases it. And that's what I always say is, like, everybody has different grills at home. We don't all have eggs. We don't all have stick burners. We don't all have Traegers.
Right.
But if you showcase kind of cooking on all of them, it gives people an idea that, hey, I can do this on whatever I have.
Exactly. And that's the same thing applies in the kitchen. Like whether you got a pressure cooker or a Dutch oven or whatever method you try to, go with, it's more about, one, what you're comfortable with, and two, how much time do you got? So you need to you need to have the right tools for the job, and based on your, constraints in terms of your time schedule. But I'm actually in the process of getting an outdoor kitchen built right now. So I'm excited to get that. That'll be a new component of the YouTube channel, start showcasing some more of the barbecue stuff. Honestly, the reason why I don't post much of it is it just doesn't perform that well for me. So I kind of stick to the kitchen for now at least, but I'm super passionate about barbecue. One of my favorite foods for sure.
How are you concentrating on any other platform other than YouTube, or is YouTube the primary focus right now?
For me, what I think is part of what I would consider part of my success is that I've been able to try to build a consistent following on all platforms. Like I got almost 100,000 on Twitter. It's super hard to get a following on Twitter. We're doing good on Instagram. TikTok is doing pretty good. So I'm fairly consistent across the board on all platforms, and that's kind of been my strategy from day one. I don't know if it's a good or I think over time, I got a saying: you don't want to do it the fastest, you want to do it the best. So I may not be growing as quickly as I would if I just focused on one platform, but having a little bit of consistency on all platforms helps, especially today when all of these platforms are kind of fighting for. They're all starting to compensate us as creators, so it's actually starting to work out in my benefit. But my focus was to try to be good on everything.
Yeah, I like it's a marathon, not a sprint. That's for sure. It's.
Yep.
I've seen that you've recently put out some rubs. Is that correct? How long have you had those?
So I have my third one actually just dropped yesterday. But my first one came out about it was May, so almost getting close to a year and a half now. And then I rolled out the second one probably, 6 or 7 months after the first one. And this is the third flavor coming out this week. So that's been a huge business. And, you're one of the first people I've seen do that as well. So I'm a student of the game. I pay attention and I, take notes on who's doing it right. And, that definitely was part of the inspiration. But it's it's a good business to be in if you got the right product.
What flavors do you have?
I've got an all-purpose, and the all-purpose did so well that I made a hot version of the all-purpose. So we added a little jalapeno powder and cayenne and things like that to the hot version. And then I have one that I'm calling Lemon Bay, which is like a baby between Old Bay and lemon pepper.
I bet so,
I love that. Yeah. So is it BAY or is it BAE? Because I think that that's my lemon
like a play on words. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So
talk about a bull booster. I know that has to be good with the seafood.
Yep, seafood.
Even the lemon pepper stepper wings.
Chicken wings. Yep.
Yeah, I'm already thinking when you start talking like that. Yeah. Yep. So are you, how are you distributing? Are you selling primarily on your website, or are you selling like, you got distribution deals in place, or how's that going?
So right now I'm in a couple like small grocery stores or butcher shops. I don't have any major distribution. We're doing everything. I was doing everything right out of the man cave of my house until the wife finally convinced me hey, you need to get all this stuff out of my house. So now we got the office and the warehouse set up, and things are going great, man. We're moving units, so to speak, and no major distribution as of yet. We're in the process of talking to Kroger and a place called Farm Fresh out here, but we haven't landed on anything as of yet. I'm still trying to figure that part out. It'd be nice because we're putting a lot of man hours into packaging this stuff up and shipping it out.
It'll happen, man. I promise you. That's another one of those things. If you put in the work, it will grow.
No doubt. It's a great business. I mean, it's doing really, really well for me. Better than I ever expected it to do. That's for sure.
Someone wanted to find your Bang Bang Shrimp recipe or your seafood in a bag or any of your other recipes. Where would they go to find it?
So MrMakeItHappen.com actually just finally bit the bullet and paid for that. Somebody was paid for that and held on to it for a while. But now it's finally MrMakeItHappen.com and then Mr. Make It Happen on YouTube for the recipes. I'm transferring all the recipes over to the website as well, so you can have the written ingredients and description, printable recipes on the website. Also, all the products are on the website as well, so everything's at MrMakeItHappen.com.
I'm sure the cookbook's on that website too, right?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Can you get it? Can you get it on Amazon yet?
Not yet. We've been talking back and forth on. I think the next batch we'll probably do something with Amazon. We haven't made the final decision on that as of yet.
On a second publish, I like that thinking. Means you're moving some cookbooks.
Yes, sir.
Well, cool. Well, Matt, we really appreciate you taking time out of your day, coming on here and talking a little bit about your business and what you're doing, man. We wish you all the luck in the world, man. I know this is it's a fun job to have when you're cooking. You're cooking for people and filming it, man. It doesn't get any better than that. And
best job in the world.
And then I know the rub business can be up and down. And some days you wonder why the heck you're doing it. Yeah, but it's worth it, man. I tell you, if you stick to it, I know you've been really consistent with everything you're doing. So I won't be surprised if you do this for a long time. So congratulations on everything, man, and just thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, man. Likewise. Again, big fan of everything you've been doing. Been watching for a long time. Like I said, long before I ever decided to do this myself. So I think that you probably influenced a whole lot of people that you may not even know about to take on this job, so to speak. And hats off to you for being one of the pioneers of what we're doing. It's a whole industry now. So you were early to the game.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate you watching. That's what I tell everybody. If y'all didn't watch, I wouldn't be here doing it. So.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, man, y'all follow Matt. Check him out on all the platforms. It's Mr. Make It Happen, MrMakeItHappen.com. You can check out his 3 lines of rubs he has, his seasonings. Get that cookbook, and y'all give him a follow and check out what he's doing over on the East Coast.
Yes, sir. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So that was cool. Matt came on, told us a little bit about his business, what's going on over on the East Coast.
I can't believe he's only been doing it for 2 years.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a ton of channels that started right at the pandemic that just blowed up because people were staying at home cooking and watching content like that. It flipped the script on YouTube growth.
Yeah.
Like ours, it took us 10 years to get to where we were, before. I mean, it really did. And you've got guys now that, man, there's so many. It shows you how many eyes are on it now.
Yeah.
They switched from watching things like the Food Network, Cooking Channel, to where they're getting their cooking stuff on their social platforms.
I mean, the Cooking Channel doesn't even put out cooking shows anymore.
Yeah, it's all reality TV stuff.
Yeah.